Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie, and there's Mr. Bob,
And just Bob sitting next
just
to him.
Bob, the king of the sugar shake. Oh
Oh man,
my goodness, let me
it's been a
get
long
things.
day.
Huh?
Long day today.
Yeah, it was a pretty busy day at the mill today. Everybody come in Friday afternoon, as I call them, the weekend warriors, and getting stuff for the weekend. We're supposed to have a bunch of rain come in and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it was looking overcast when I was in Charlotte and and most of the way back. But when I got here, it was nice. So a little bit cooler than normal. But I'm getting a
Yeah,
very high pollen count for tomorrow. Yay, yes. Never wished so hard for pollen count.
pollen.
Yeah, like the air quality, the pollen count is what they call it.
Oh, I see.
Says we got a high pollen count tomorrow. Popcorn Charlie and Buckwheat Bob. That's our cowboy names.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
there's Brad. Hey, Brad. And
he's
Russell
harvesting
and,
honey today.
huh?
He's spinning honey today.
Yeah, and Mitchell and Randy and Robert. And let's see. We got Chris and we got, I don't know. I got to look at my charts here. I can't remember everybody's name. Terrible.
Robert's asking about the fill my tote.
And
So
there's
I didn't have a tote. I
and
bought
Jack.
the tote and filled it. So to buy the tote and to fill it with 250 gallons of syrup cost me $600. So
Not
there.
too bad.
No, it's not that bad. I mean, and with a brand new tote that I never had anything in it, I don't have to wonder if someone accidentally one time put soap in it or something. I just felt I just buy it new.
You got Ed and Phil and Dan, DC. Well, I guess we can go ahead and drop a link.
You're ready to get conversation started. None of the small.
Yeah, let's see. Right? Let's see. Live studio. Where are we at here? Invite. I had to think about that.
You want me? I could have already headed. There you go. Oh, someone say hi or something so I can pin that thing. There you go. Oh, I can't pin it. You got to pin it.
I got it. There it is.
You're on point.
Yeah, it's been a busy week. Last week I put Formic Pro in. It's been a week as of today. And I'm gonna been kind of waiting on that to get through that and then start feeding. I've been really chomping a bit to get feeding here because I like to be done by the middle of October at the latest, depending on weather conditions. It's been really chilly, which has been great for the Formic Pro. And so I went Tuesday, I guess it was, something like that, and I got my sugar making machine out, mixing machine, sugar water mixing machine, and then also my 40-gallon pump tank and the pallet it goes with it that I keep because it's got eye ring or eye bolts on it and stuff like that. And so I stuck that in my truck and put the pallet in there and then put the tank on top of that and then ratchet strap the pallet to the truck and then of course the tank to the pallet and got that. And before I did all that, I cleaned out any sometimes there's, even though you wash that, there's always an ant or something that gets inside that tank. So I washed all the crud out and then put some water in it and tested the pump, make sure it's pumping before I fill it, and got all that done. In the meantime, I was letting I put 20 gallons of water in my sugar making machine to get it. I heat it with propane, and It was getting it up to temperature. And then after, by the time I got the truck situated with the tank and all that, it was up to temperature, and I threw in uh, 250 pounds of sugar and mixed it, and it was uh, it was perfect temperature, because as soon as when you can throw 50 pounds of sugar in there and it just completely dissolves automatically, it's just right. So, and then I think the last bag was a little bit of clump laying, floating around on the syrup, and then finally it dissolved and went away. And then I took and shoved it into my. It's I have it at my. I guess you might call it a walk-in basement. It's a where they used to park cars, and I just roll it in there and let it cool overnight. So then
Well,
the next day I mixed up some rocket fuel there, tablespoon in a partial, 3/4 of a quart of water in a blender. That's the first time I ever did it that way. And it blended it there for a minute or two. And then I just threw it in that drum, and,
gravity.
and then I have a mixer agitator in that drum. I agitated it for a while, and then that was it. Then I took it and put it in the truck, filled the tank up in the truck. And then this afternoon, I got to thinking about it. I got this storm coming up through the coast, and it's supposed to be coming up to Chesapeake Bay, supposedly. So it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow and Sunday, at least on and off or better. By the time it gets to me, it won't be as strong. It'll be kind of dying out, luckily. But it's supposed to have quite a bit of wind. And so, I got on the back row, I had three queens that I've been get them to build them up and get them, and they're in, it's bypassed us, Charlie. The bug man. Yeah, okay, yeah, down there it did. And so I said, I got some holes. There was 3 hives, and they're standing there freestanding with no way of strapping them down.
Right.
So it was cool around 6 o'clock this evening, and cloudy and overcast, kind of like almost like twilight dark almost. And so I went ahead and got I keep 1/8-inch hardware screens for nukes, where I just jam them in the front so they can't get out. And so I went ahead and put a ratchet strap around them, and so they'll hold together, and use them and then just kind of bear hugged them and picked them up and put them out on the rack right there behind me. There was 2 of them in behind where the barn is. And then that one hive that I shook out that had that queen issue all summer long, that one, I put the nuke right there. I kind of have a half a notion of whether or not to transfer that nuke into a 10-frame box, but I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it in. I don't know what to do on that one. What would you think, Bob? I got
If
15.
it's packed, I probably would, since you're going to throw feed to them anyway. And if you got some extra frames, let them fill them up with feed on the sides.
You're talking about leave it in the nuke?
I would probably put it in a 10-frame myself, but you don't usually run frame equipment.
Well, that's I'm the one nuke's going in there where it's 10-frame. It's going to be a new production hive. So I was thinking,
Since Sunday they canceled his cheese fest. Does anybody need 500 pounds of jarred honey?
Oh.
That's a lot of jarred honey.
Yeah, that's 500 pounds. Jeez.
So last year, I think he sold 300 pounds in a couple of hours.
Really?
And he wished he had more, but he couldn't get back to come back in time. He's in New York, drained the swamp.
Who's drained the swamp? I see he's new.
He was on last night.
I know. He was on last night.
I'm not familiar.
So what state are you in, drain the swamp? Down in the swamp?
Got to drain it. So that's been like the number one.
Or he might be over in Washington, D.C.
That's one of the my most asked question was the one that Hope asked. How am I getting the tote off the truck? It's my goal to plumb and fill the buckets up and get the tote off there. But you know the funny part about that tote is I got 15.3 miles to the gallon is what I had going up to Charlotte. And then after loading the tote, I had 15.6 for the total trip coming down. So I gained gas mileage on the way back with 3,000 pounds of syrup in the back. That I found weird, but
Hey, Dave.
The tailwind might have been, but
well, you see, it's pushing you downhill,
pushing me downhill through the traffic jam.
No, from Charlotte, you're going down. You're going south, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It was the weirdest thing ever. But with the tote, yeah, I'm gonna plumb it and drain it. Try to drain it off. But I don't drive. If I drive my truck one day a week, it's probably pretty conservative. You know, maybe just the weekends, right? I drive the work truck during the week, so I'm not in a big rush.
That's the way with me. My truck has a 40-gallon tank, filled with sugar water, and I barely drive it during the weekdays because I don't, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, with the buckets though, when I was filling the buckets, I was filling like 27 buckets up. And then I would come and give part of those to Mr. Sam, right? He would buy some of them. And then I would have 15 to 17 buckets left over maybe. And
that's full 5 gallons.
5 gallons. Yeah. But then I was out, right? Or having to lug the 5 gallons that way. So this thing,
that's 75 gallons. 5 gallons, 15.
So with 27 of those is like half a tote. So now I only have to go half as often, and it costs me the same amount of fuel. So, and it doesn't go bad. So,
well, just like everybody talks about sugar and everything, and everybody's talking about going to Walmart and all that. Well, that's fine if you only need a few bags.
We did that math today. So I showed Brad the photo, and he said to fill up a tote of 2 to 1 cost him, I want to say $1,100 in sugar. And the sugar in Canada is cheaper than it is down here. So when we figure for a 5-gallon bucket, you need a 25-pound bag to make 1 to 1, right?
All right. So, well, that's 17. I think the last time I looked here recently, it was, I'm going to say basically $18 a bag.
All right. But to make 1 to 1, you need 1 bag. So to make 2 to 1, you need 2 bags, right? So you need 50 pounds of sugar to 3 gallons of water, maybe a little bit more than 3 gallons of water. So where's my calculator over here? So we're saying you're saying 18. So we're looking at $36 in just sugar to make a 5-gallon pail of 2 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Times, hold on. So if you're doing 5 gallons and you got 275, right? Math is killing me tonight. So 275 divided by 5 is 55 times 36. It would cost you $1,980 in sugar to make the same amount of sugar syrup I got in that tote.
Right. So
that's pretty expensive. And so, yeah, plus the mixing time and everything. And it's already mixed. So all I got to do is open the valve and pour it out. So that's why I do it, guys. Exactly. The tablets came in today. I'm going to box them this weekend and mail them on Monday. So they did come in and I just got them. So Exactly. But if you're making 2 to 1, it's 50 pounds of sugar, that's what the syrup is, 2 to 1. So 50.
All right, 25 pounds is $17.94. You might as well just call it $18 from Walmart.
And then you're looking at yeah, and that's what the sugar would cost. Yeah, you're doing your math backwards, bro. If 1 to 1 is 25 pounds to 3 gallons, then 2 to 1 would be 50 pounds to 3 gallons. Same math. You're just breaking it down. You're changing your your base amount there. Same thing. Pounds and gallons suck. So I've got 1,000 liters. It does have the liters on the tote. So
It does.
It has the liter measurements.
Yeah, mine does too.
But so for what I got it for, you can't beat it. Cannot beat it. Let's see.
No, I mean what you're getting here is quite the deal. I know.
Of course, it cost me a bigger truck to be able to go get the tote. We won't talk about that part though.
You got to scale up, you know.
See, 400 liters of water to 800 kilograms of sugar, easy. So, absolutely. Could you imagine if you had an apiary within 2 miles of that plant? You could not make pure honey. It would be impossible because there's always sugar on the ground there.
That's like down in Baltimore, a friend of mine's daughter, I think where they live, it's called Federal Hill. It's a hill in the city. And Domino Sugar's right down, down on the bottom of the hill.
Right.
And they had a couple beehives up on their roof, I guess, on their townhouse down there. And they were getting like 100 and some pounds of honey. Well, you know where that come from.
Domino.
Domino.
Domino on the bottle of honey.
Yeah.
Hope still $2 a gallon. $2 a gallon if you go get it. It's much more if you come here to buy it. You got to calculate in the time and the gas and everything else, right?
There's Nancy. Hey, Nancy. Where can you get the gallon buckets with plugs? And that's cheap.
Oh. Hold on. Jared said he got his from Uline for $4, but he had the plugs, right? He bought the plugs.
Yeah, and he also, Nancy, are you going to drill the holes or you're going to get somebody or buy the thing? I mean, you can buy all that stuff from up there. It better be, but it's expensive.
Greg Burns sells them, but I don't know that they're that cheap. I mean, it's still $10 a bucket or something. And he won't. When I called him for buckets, he wouldn't ship them because he said the amount to ship them, the cost was pretty expensive. So
you're not going to drill the hole, so you'd have to buy the buckets. And I guess Better Bee would be the best bet.
No, not Greg. I think there's Alex. I think that if you had those little yellow plugs that you might be able to buy over at like a Lowe's, right? Those little yellow plugs that they're talking about. You could probably drill that hole in the side to fill your buckets and then just drill regular holes that you just flip the lid over, right? And they can just suck it right out of the bucket too. They don't even really need that.
How are you feeding your things, Alex?
3-gallon pails.
And where did you get them at?
Uh, it's called Beekeeping Techopia in Laval.
A bee supply store.
Yeah.
We did a search for tent plugs one night, and you can buy them. I mean, they do have them other places. Lee just buys the lids, I think, from Better Bee, and then buys the buckets somewhere else. I'm not sure.
And the mixer doesn't work. The honey's too thick. Makes this belt drive skip. So I may as well take in $200 and throw it down the toilet.
All right, Nancy. Better Bee's got 1 gallon pails from 1 to 9 for $8.95, and if you go at 10 to 50 of them, are $8.45.
Is that with the lid?
That's with the lid with that screen in the middle. Hey, Phil.
Hey, Charlie.
Oh, the buckets and the lids from Better Bee. Philippe.
Hey, Bob.
What's happening, brother?
Oh, I just got to the farm, so I'm just looking around.
Well, maybe you won't find a squirrel head in your yard like I did.
Yeah, I saw that on your post.
It looked like a clean cut, too. I'm like, what will do that? What will take the head off a squirrel and take the rest of it? Raccoon?
I don't know.
Nah.
Maybe a cat. Raccoon will eat the head.
Coyote?
Well, that's possible. When I pulled up in my yard, I scared one into the woods. Had a long, bushy tail like a kind of like a German Shepherd, right? Dark colored.
I guess
woods. I didn't see the end of it.
A fox? How about a fox?
Fox
with a bushy tail.
It was too tall. I thought it was a dog. And I'm like, no, it ain't no dog around here. But my chickens.
Can you guys see what that? Sorry.
See the dirt.
See what that is?
What are you showing us?
That's grass. That's green grass.
In Texas?
Yeah. I thought you only had tumbleweed.
Looks like the broomwood's starting to bloom. Here, let's walk out to the bees before it gets too dark. The ground still has some cracks in it. I think last time I was out here, I showed you the big crack. It's still there.
We don't want to see crack tonight, Philip.
It closed up about halfway there, so we need some more rain still. All right, let's see how the girls are doing. They're buzzing.
Feel like I should be listening to Roy Rogers music while you're walking out there? Happy trails to you until we meet again.
Looks like they're all coming in for the evening. I hope I don't have to feed again, but we'll see. Until I pull the honey. You busy? Let's see here.
Hard to see any bees. A little grainy at the moment. There you go.
Yeah, let me hold it still. Tell you what, let me go down to this one over here. It's crazy busy. Look up in the tree, see if I see any swarming. I hear pigs off in the woods. I'll check that one out.
Pretty active.
Yeah, this one's crazy active. They're still coming and going. They're gonna get work till it gets too dark. I took today off and did bee work. I took the day off from work, regular work.
What's Charlie doing back there?
I got one of my wood customers. He gave me my a tripod. And he come walking in here a couple days ago and he said, look, he says, my brother is cleaning out his house. And he said, I don't want it. And I don't know what he gave me this here
Let's see most of it.
tripod.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, there we go. You know, pretty nice looking heavy duty tripod with little flipper ears on it and all that kind of stuff. It looks to me, it's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit big, I think. I'm not sure.
It's good to put your one of them cameras like Lee's got.
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit big, you know, compared to the other one that I have here, where it's more heavier duty, I guess. Where this one here is just, I already got it set up and all. Where I've got this thing here, you just as cam lock, you stick your the other part from the camera on, and just twist lock it, and it's already on. This is a lot lighter, a lot easier to work with than that one there. I forgot about it. He gave it to me here this week.
Sure, extra honeycombs out there, Phil.
Well, yeah, the last time I was here 2 weeks ago, I took them out of the cabin and put them out here to air out because I'm going to put them on this weekend. Put them on the hives,
Right.
and I was just seeing if the wax moths left me anything. So I'll take those, have 10 frames in them, and I'll take 2 out of each and do 8 frames.
When I swapped my truck over, I put that stuff in my new truck from my old truck, and in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I went out there today because I was going to get syrup. I had to take it all out. The wax moths cocooned between the boxes and the front wall on my truck bed. So I had wax moth larvae on my, like, stuck to my truck bed. So I had to spray it all out and all crap out of there. It was pretty nasty. Charlie's bagging it up.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's a nice heavy one. It's and all, but honestly, I like the first one that the guy gave me, where it's nice and light. And
Lee says lighter is shaky, heavier is more stable.
well, this one here is more heavy, but I mean, for a little bit of video, and I do.
Well, when you get the hive lifter, you can just slap that right on there, no problem.
Yeah. Well, you know, James, he's going to buy that new, what's it called? It's the hive lifter, you know?
So we're still on a search for a truck for Alex, and James submitted an offering for a truck. So let's see if I can find.
Unless they accept payment in honey, there's no point.
Let's see. All right, this is a little bit different than the one I picked out the other day.
You mean like the dinghy?
Easy letter, yeah.
This is kind of like a crew cab.
It's weird.
You could fit 4 people.
You might be able to place 2 boxes in it.
Well,
That looks-
you can stack 6 tall in the back, 2 wide, and put 4 people in there.
Yeah.
You could probably put 15 supers in the back seat, though.
That looks like something that came off a Harry Potter movie set.
And it's on auction. Oh, it's got a spray-in liner, or it's got a plat.
I like how did Alex see the one that you picked out for him? I think that's pretty cool.
The tiny one, the black one that looks like a clown car?
That you
Yeah,
get
I
in.
saw that.
It sits one person.
Well,
We're gonna-
yeah,
Let's
I'm
see,
trying making some more creamed honey, and
Yeah.
it,
Hey, then Brian there, he says he sees some guy mixing wintergreen, tea tree oil, and
Sativa.
yeah, whatever that is. There's 2-to-1 sugar mix to feed their bees. And I'm like, Okay, in my past, yes, I used to put wintergreen and tea tree oil in there for nosema and stuff like that. I don't do it anymore. And the only thing I put in mine now is rocket fuel
in the syrup.
in the syrup. That's it. All that other stuff there, all you're doing is wasting money, as far as I'm concerned. Just like Honeybee Healthy, that's just another waste of money. I used to use that. I used to buy it by the gallons, and when it got up to over $100 and some a gallon, that's when I said, enough of that garbage. And it doesn't do it. There is no benefit to that.
I was really, honestly, I was surprised you tried the Apis because you had made the statement earlier in the year that I'm not adding anything else. And then you gave it a shot and you're like, oh, wait a minute. That's amazing. It's kind of like those banana spreader. That's kind of like the urinal cake that I put in there. I mean, that was a happy surprise. And then I start watching this video today, and it's like, I think the US and Canada are the only countries that aren't using it. All over Europe, they're using that product. And so I'm pretty excited about it.
Are you talking about the cakes that kill varroa and feed the bees at the same time?
Yep. Yes, sir. That's the one.
I don't know do they really feed the bees, or it's just?
Well, it's got sugar. It's also got essential oils in it. And matter of fact, Lee, since you're on here, the owner has agreed to come on Tuesday night live, so y'all can ask him whatever questions.
Hey, Tim.
Timothy.
So yeah.
Tired, brother.
Man, we were whooped, brother.
You sound like you got a cold.
We've been cutting up hardy plank all day, today and yesterday. So all that blasted dust from cutting that board. But man, we tried to get back with you, Bob.
That was a couple days ago, right? My phone has been blown up lately. It's all good, man. All good.
Oh yeah. Who you talking? Was you getting the cakes?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Was you getting on them?
Yeah, I was surprised the amount of mites that dropped from them. You know, it was quite impressive. And then I cleaned the bottom boards, and I put up a little video today about the mites that dropped again a day later after cleaning it out. So it's pretty good. Love the shirt, Tim. He's got the red, white, and blue going on.
Thank you. That's what I was fixing to type in. Tell Chris here. Appreciate you. How long did it take for them things to start working?
You know, to be honest with you, I put them in there and then I didn't even check them for a week. And then when I went back, all those mites were in there. And then I cleaned it out yesterday and refilled it with oil and put it back in, and there was a pretty good mite drop again. So it's pretty good. They're supposed to last, 3 weeks to a month in there. And it's I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. So that's about the only things I can say about it. It's supposedly all natural. I know what the little bits are that are landing in the bottom down there. So he told me what those were, and that, they grow it around here. So, it's got like corn. Those little bits of yellow that are falling to the bottom are corn. So it's kind of unique. And that's, when he comes on Tuesday, it'll be a good question to ask him. Yeah, it's they use it all over Europe. I was surprised when I started looking at the little video a little while ago. I sent it to I think Todd and it is on Facebook, so I sent it to Todd and to Brad over there to take a look at. But it's pretty. I mean, I was surprised. Honestly, I wasn't expecting much when we started talking about it, and I got them, and it was just a happy surprise for us.
Is the guy
Well,
the
like I
creator
say-
of this product? Sorry.
I didn't hear either one.
Go ahead, Alex.
The guy you're going to talk to is he the creator of the product?
Yep, he owns the company. He's a Turkish guy. The company is Turkish.
Okay.
So it's, I mean, all I know is killing mites. That's what I can say. They can't claim that it kills mites, but I know it's killing mites. That's the only thing that's in it. You know, and only kind of anything extra. Let's see. I can literally get an offer to go into 15 supermarkets. He wants all bears. One needs some beakonomics, which bears and what size and label. You have to put nutrition labels and everything on them bad boys. Wow, that's
I would say what, a 12-ounce bear, which is like a 3/4 pound bear.
yeah, that's probably about right. So 12.
Yeah, I mean the bear that I sell is an 8-ounce bear, which is a 1/2 pound. And most people want. I did that because they want something small and cheap for the kid or whatever.
No, not cornbread for mites. Tim, you falling asleep on us, buddy?
I'm sitting here looking through the comments.
We're looking at you, and it
Get things
looks
going.
like your eyes is closed.
No, I'm here looking down at the phone. But what you think of that stuff, Charlie? I know y'all have pretty bad issues with them mites. Is it something you considering?
Well, there's Todd. I've been watching his videos, and I mean, I was quite impressed on that first tray that he had all them dead mites in on that one hive. Now, Bob, you didn't treat anything else with that hive prior to that.
Nope.
And then the other ones seem to be hitting pretty good. I don't know. I would like to see some testing done on the mice, like maybe an alcohol wash, see where they're at, that kind of stuff. And
Well, I know.
it does have thymol in it. Well, that's what Aprigard is a thymol treatment. Now, thymol does make the queen stop laying. As far as the regular Aprigard, it'll stop laying for about a month as long as you got thymol in it. So that's, part of the, we were trying to figure out why does it, well, we don't know,
Well,
that's,
I mean, it's a different thing. I mean, in talking to the owner, the tablet gets consumed by the bee, and there's something in the tablet that I guess it gets in the blood system, just like if you drink a beer, you get alcohol in your system, right? Well, that mite is getting some of that in them while they're sucking on the bee, and it kills the mite. And I mean, I can't deny it. I'll be honest with you. With the other oil board, it's had Apivar in it, and it's due to come out, and I don't see mites in the bottom of the oil tray of that one that's got Apivar in it. But I see mites every day when I go out, to the other one with the tablet in it. So I don't know. And it seems like it's a more natural type, because let's face it, at the end of the day, I don't think any of us like putting chemicals in the colony. If we didn't have to do that, I don't think we would. If we could get rid of the mites some other way, we'd do that preferably over anything else, right?
You'd probably have to travel back in time to the 80s for that, at least.
Yeah, so I don't think just Well, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I've never heard of anybody that uses Hive Alive say that their mites are dropping and it's got thymol in it as well. So, I mean, I don't know. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, most of these companies won't tell you what's in it because that's the secret sauce, right? They're not going to give you, because let's face it, if we knew what was in it, we'd be making it in our yard, right? We'd be making it in our kitchen or whatever. That's not a good business model for a company. So unfortunately, we're probably not going to ever get the whole deal.
Is it okay to use with honey supers on, Bob?
He says that if there's a flow on, it's not going to do that good because you want the bees to consume it. And if there's a flow on, they're going to take the nectar in, right? And they're going to eat that. So they're not going to consume that tablet as readily. Well, yeah, the smell is pretty strong. I'll tell you that, Randy, because I got those cases in. They came in today and I didn't bring them in here. I left them in the kitchen. Yeah, it's legal to use as a supplement. So they won't say it's a miticide. That's not their thing, right? So it's kind of like any other supplement. You can't make claims, or you got to go through a bunch of different regulations and stuff with the government. So, I mean, that's any supplement. It's not just this kind of supplement, but
I use 1 gram of oxalic as a miticide and 3 grams as a supplement.
And
Oxalic acid supplement.
Yeah, 3 grams of my 4 that I put in as a supplement.
but I
That's
mean,
like my 5-to-1.
you're 5-to-1.
So
Yeah,
Charlie, I went through all my colonies in Capel. I didn't go through them, but I had left the honey supers on, or put them back on to clean up after the spring harvest. And I
Right.
took the inner covers out. Well, I took them and moved them up a couple weeks ago, but when I went back through, a couple of things I noticed. One is the new queens from the spring were way outperforming the older queens. And the other thing was the hives I was using, single brood chamber management, were loaded with honey. They were loaded.
Mm-hmm.
I don't bet Tim makes it through the stream, man. He's got them heavy eyes, and I can see them. They're just like.
So Tim, you said you were going to take it off, I think on Monday or whatever it was, and check your hives and stuff like that. So how is your hives doing? I know you had to slime out several weeks ago or whatever it was.
I'm gonna be honest, Charlie, we didn't even get in them. Things went completely opposite of what the day was going to be. We're gonna try once again tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
See how it goes. But going out there looking at everybody, just seeing a visual at the gate, if you will. They bringing in the pollen, bringing in something else. Now the goldenrod is starting to show pretty well, so I'm assuming they think on the wildflower be a little bit better than what the spring was. Store.
Right. How's your mite, or not mite, but beetle trap working out for you? Doing a good job?
Well, that was part of the plan last Monday when we was take off, but all that's going to be done tomorrow too. Yes, sir.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I hope everything's working good for you. I know Bob's mite or beetle traps are doing well.
Yeah, it's making
at least it's helping. I'll put it to you that way. Now, one thing about this here cake thing that I see, it's promising. Number one. Number two, it's nice and easy. You just put it in the hive and leave it, and it'll, the bees will take care of it completely. You don't have to take it back out or any residue type of stuff.
Yeah,
So
I mean, pretty simple, right? You go in there to do your hive inspection, you put the disc on there and close it up, and you're done.
And then from what I gather is you put that in the springtime or in the fall, you say in the fall?
Well, they say one in the spring and one in the fall.
How big are they?
I can go get, hold on, I'll go get a sleeve.
I think they're about 3 inches diameter.
I put out some honey. It's just I used a 5-gallon bucket of honey to fill jars, and I put the residue out 2 days ago, and there's still honey in there. So that means the bees are on a flow here in Texas.
They got on a flow of some sort.
Yeah, they're won't even, there's like 3 dead bees in there, and I didn't see any bees flying around it. The honey's still in there. There was a bunch of ants in there yesterday, but that was it. So yeah.
So when does your bee honey flow and bee type stuff shut down?
We'll get flow through most of October, and then it'll shut down again. It's about middle of September to middle of October. We get about 4 weeks of fall flow, generally.
What are they, about 3 inches across?
It's a 1/2 inch thick, which we guessed right, and 2.5 inches in diameter.
Oh, so they're not real big at all.
No, so you get a sleeve of 10 of them. And it just says thymol, essential oils, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and sugars.
Have they started selling them in the U.S. or the guy?
Yeah, I sell them in the U.S. and they sell them in the U.S. as well. So, but like they sell, I mean, they use them in Bosnia and Germany and Turkey, obviously, a lot of those types of countries.
What do they know about Turkey? What do they know about bees in Turkey?
I don't know. Well, see, that's the whole thing that amazes me about America in general is other countries have been doing stuff for ages, and we're like always one of the last people to get something. And then when we get it, like Canada is even slower than us to get it, you know, but they've been using it for a while.
You know, all you got to do is look at oxalic acid. Oxalic acid had been used for years in Europe. Yeah. And then I remember the Fat Bee Man talking that he had talked to somebody over in Europe, and he clued him in about this oxalic acid. And then it all kind of, you know, started getting popularity. And one thing, you know, and the reason we have it legal is that was one of the things that Obama did was like he told EPA, stop trying to reinvent the wheel and experiment. They just take the data from the other place in Europe and approve the damn stuff. So well,
I was kidding. Brian Mater called me out. Yeah, Turkey, I think, has more beekeepers than any other country by far. It's a huge beekeeping country.
Yeah, Europe is big, especially like Central Europe is very big on beekeeping. It started there.
Yeah, that's like over there, the country where they're fighting,
Ukraine
and all. There's a huge beekeeping, you know, industry there, and there's I think it was in the American Bee Journal this month where they're trying to. I mean, they have beekeeping so far back where they had tree trunks, you know, that they kind of like look to me, you know, where they look like carvings of people or animals and stuff like that. Like the bees will go in and out of the hive through, let's say, a nose holes or something like that in the animation that's carved on the outside and things of that nature. And they've been at it for a long, long time.
This is my gift, Todd, that he said he's going to send me. Some bee gloves, but it's like the rubberized thing.
I thought it was something else there for a second. I didn't want to say what. You know, if you had a a
cow?
urinary issue that kind of looked like what that was for a second.
What is that? Is that something that you sent, Todd?
No.
No, this is what the app. This is from Appamon,
Applemon?
made in Turkey.
What is that, goat?
No, it's just like it's just a fabric,
Oh, it's
and it's like rubberized over the hand, so it's real thick. So you're not going to get stung through this.
Huh.
But the shelf life. Let me see if it says. I believe it's 2 years.
Hey, sir, I can't order activator because it's not. It says it's sold out.
All right, hold on.
I didn't mean to hold up the show, Charlie. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you did. You're so extra.
Well, no, I mean you're gonna tell me in 5 minutes. Well, you haven't made an order yet, Todd. Blah blah blah. So
I did fix it. Hold on.
I just looked at it.
Thought I fixed it. Crap. Sorry.
Yeah,
My bad.
No problem.
Now I got to count how many I got in.
Oh, shoot.
All right, go ahead. Proceed. I'll figure it out.
I can order later.
Yeah, you're just trying to get it before everybody buys them out.
Well, yeah, because I need it. I need it like right now.
But Canadian pack job here. Yeah, today's been a busy day as far as bee supplies, I guess. Man, don't everybody talk at once.
All right, Brian C. I got a question for you guys. When you go from being a hobby to a business, what steps did you take? Register a business, insurance?
Depends what your business is.
I think
Honey?
he's
Or
Well, I mean, my business, I'm more of a sideliner, a small scale sideliner where I just sell honey bees and queens if I'm good enough to raise them and all. And Todd, there, you're more into pollination, right? That's what you're getting into.
Yeah.
But you're in pollination. You're in the state of where the pollination it happens.
They're
And
all
then,
around me right now.
And then Phil there, he works in Texas and he's in the honey sales and doing bad, that kind of stuff like the rest of us, going to weekend, farmer markets type places. And then Alex there, he's going to be the king of what do you call it?
creams.
Cream honey.
With the mixer I got,
You got how's the mixer doing?
mini truck.
first it overheated, then the belt drive started skipping. It's trash. It's worthless for making cream
When you
pie.
got it on Amazon, they'll take it back.
So, yeah.
After being used.
Send it back. Say it didn't work. Say it was defective. They don't know what you put in there. Say it
Hey.
didn't work.
Yeah, I was gonna. Hey, I'll get back to Brian's question real quick. It's something I've been thinking about, Brian, because I got asked for my W-9 the other day because I'm selling honey in that restaurant in Fort Worth. So I was like, okay, how do I fill this out? Just a personal W-9, or which is how I ended up doing it. But I did put my business name on there. But it has got me thinking because I saw a YouTube video. It said insurance was somewhere between $300 and $500 a year, which once you start selling enough, that's not that big of a deal. So I might look into that. We'll see, but I don't have it currently.
Well, see, and that I don't know what y'all's cottage food law is like there, but so I can't put stuff into stores to resell without being inspected, right? So I don't have to have that.
I can't either, Bob, legally, although Texas made some recent rule changes. So you got other people saying you can do the cottage food Other people say that they've taken everything away. You can do whatever you want. I don't think they've settled out yet. But the way I understand it is I could sell a lot using the cottage food laws, but I've got to do a different label if I do that. I've got to do the calories and all that stuff, But as far as the honey, I'm supposed to sell it direct to the consumer, but it says I can sell it from my home, from the farm, from a farmer's market or festival. And then it says, or other designated location. So that to me is like the gray area. So I'm going to tell them my designated location is the bodega. They're not selling my honey in the restaurant. At least they say they're not. They're just serving it and featuring it.
Well,
And
then you're legal there.
And then the liquor store. But I did send them a little retail fixture with my name and all that on it. So that kind of, they know they're buying it from me and it's on consignment. It's not sold wholesale.
Yeah, then they're buying it direct from you.
Yeah, that's the way I'm, but I don't know. That's not been tested.
That's how James does it in Canada. He rents the space.
I didn't see that comment that Brian at Flower Street put up. What was that?
He pays $500 insurance. Now, where he sells, he states that they want to see a insurance certificate.
Well, see, I'm wanting to approach. There's a school district that has like a little farm campus where they have some cows and they do outdoor programs. I want to approach them because they're only a mile from my house, and I think they could, I could put 10 to 20 hives there. So when I approach them, they're probably going to get lawyers involved, and they're probably going to want me to have some insurance at that point. I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm maxed out.
It's sort of what would you call? It's also dependent where you live, what state you're in, and that kind of stuff, depending on the cottage laws. I know here in Maryland, under the cottage, we can't do infused honey, and unless it's like you say, then you get into the health department and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I run mine as a sole proprietorship, so everything just goes under my Social Security rate. I have a job, so I pay income tax in, and then if I owe, which I never do, but if I do owe at the end of the year, then I would have to pay. If not, then I would get a refund just like any other time. So,
and I think what we all worry about is somebody getting stung and dying or getting real sick, and that's
they shouldn't be at your apiary then.
Well, like,
I'm coming. Leave the windows up.
Where my bees are, there are people within 100 feet. The houses, the lots are tiny. So, that's the worry, I guess, and that's real. I mean, I carry insurance with my other job, and it costs me about $3,500 a year. So, and that's
I would say cover what would be liability insurance, I guess, is what it amounts to.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, even if you go to do cutouts, if you mess somebody's house up, whether they verbally say, "Hey, don't worry about it" or whatever, they could still come after you because you were the one that did the damage, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not in a big rush to go do those all the time.
I will say the money that I collect over Zelle goes through my business account. It just goes directly into my business bank account, and I've got an accountant that keeps track of all that. So, but that's because I already had a business set up. That was just natural for it to be that way. When you start collecting money like that, the IRS is you're probably gonna have to file a Schedule C with your taxes.
Well, thank God my sister has a tax business. Well, I mean, if you think about it though, like today, the tote in the syrup, tax deduction, right?
Right.
Uncapper, tax deduction. Buckets, anything you buy for your bee business, tax deduction. If you go out to the Kentucky Fried Conference and you pay for your plane ticket and your hotel and your meals, tax deduction. Yeah. Anything you buy there as far as to use for your bee business is a tax deduction.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, my accountant was really excited when I finally started showing income because we've been deducting a lot of my farm expenses too, and it's not been showing very much at all. I got a little tiny lease on it. So when he started seeing money come in, he's like, yeah, he was like, the IRS start coming around. A lot of people have hobbies that they deduct. And if you don't ever show an income, they start to scrutinize it a little bit. So
Well, yeah, I'm still operating at a net loss, I think.
I am too, but well, he actually told me this past year I finally made a profit, but I write off my mileage from my home to the farm when I come, which before you guys elected that president, they actually made me money to come down here. But now
you guys, that must have been Alex, because I know two out of 4 of us didn't. I don't know what Charlie did, but I know at least 2 of us, or 3 of us didn't. Before Biden,
when gas went from $2 to nearly $4.
Oh, Todd sent me a thing yesterday. He filled up his Hyundai Sonata. It was $96.
Oh my God. I don't know what it would be for my truck. Oh, yeah, actually, I do know because a buddy of mine, his son is in the Navy and he was stationed out in California. And he sent me a picture of the tank to fill up his truck. And I don't think it was as high as it is now, but it was $124 to fill up his truck.
All right,
in
Bucket
California.
Paid $5.49 a gallon yesterday.
makes a point. He says you still have to pay for the tax deduction. Correct. But the difference is, let's say you buy a computer for your job. All right. So the government taxes you and you're paying that off of what's left over. Whereas you buy a computer for your business, you pay for it, but then you get to write the whole amount off against your income.
That's right.
Your taxable income is less, which hopefully at the end of the year makes you, some money. Right now, I spend a lot of my income, whether it's from Swarm Lure or the website or for, syrup and equipment, is just the expansion and getting my infrastructure where it needs to be. I'm not taking a lot of profit off of that, right? So it's I'm able to roll things in. Oh, new truck. Well, there's a depreciation for your bee business, so there's ways to lessen your tax liability, but
yeah,
that's a whole nother show that we would bore that on everybody.
And Brian, if you set yourself up as a business, and I don't know how far you drive, you go do that, help that guy out at that college, or if you went over to see Gus Mitchell, or whatever you do, just that mileage, don't discount that. That's is it still 55 cents a mile? I mean,
50,
that adds up.
55 cents a mile. Yep.
Yeah. Because I sit down at the end of the year and I take all my credit card receipts out and I try to buy something at a gas station or in Corsicana or Mahia down here, just so I'll have a record, because at the end of the year I go back and that's the way I keep my mileage. Is I know if I bought something, I came that weekend, take care of the bees or take care of the farm. So yeah, it's very beneficial to set it up as a business. Now, as far as your insurance and all that, that's just something you have to
see what
take into account with the exposure.
You don't think about it. You go to get pins. Oh, I need those for my business. Now your pin expense is a tax deduction. New printer to print labels, tax deduction. So you keep track of that stuff.
That's exactly right.
So, Bob, can I hit this send button?
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Jason, for your order. Matter of fact, you guys have been awesome on this pre-order deal. So far I've sold over half of what was ordered. So I already told him, I said I'll probably be putting another order in next week. So he was quite happy with that. But I'm happy with it. You guys have watched my videos. If I think something sucks, I kind of say it sucks. I don't like it. And and honestly, I didn't give it a shot. When I got it, I wasn't optimistic about it at all. And then all of a sudden I see mite drops. I'm like, really? That's all you got to do is take the disc and set it on the frames. And if it don't fit on the frames, he says it's fine to slide it in on the bottom board. Just slide it in.
That's nifty.
So, and then you leave it. You don't have to ever take it out. You don't have to reapply. You don't have to get another syringe or another tray or another card or a $500 vaporizer or
Do you have to pee on it to activate it?
I did. I mean,
Right,
it worked for me.
That's what the thymol smell is there for.
If you want it to work really good.
Piss works the best.
I really don't think we should be making fun of it right now since I saw that pan the other day. I mean, holy cow.
No, I'm actually, I was sitting there thinking, no, I'm fine with my OA vapor. And then I started thinking, out here at the farm, I just have to put that in there and I don't have to worry about it'll be basically done its job in two weeks when I'm gone away. So yeah, I'll probably be putting some next year.
I'm actually thinking about seeing if I could do a couple hives in December with it, if it'll work in cold weather.
Yeah. Does it have a temperature restriction?
I asked him that exactly because people were asking me, and let me read his response. I got to see if he sent it to. Okay. He said there is no temperature range unless it enters winter mode. So that's the language barrier there. So
Probably,
like it's freezing outside and they're clustered and they're not eating. Then that's probably winter mode. But
so late fall, let's say fall would be good time, or early spring when they're not really clustered strong or hard.
So if you buy them from their company, they're $40 for 10. One of these. Hold on. What did I do with it? Crap, I just set it somewhere.
Use your nose.
Oh, there you go.
So we have a special.
One of these with 10 tablets is $40 from their website. Mine, I just made $39.99. So still $40, right? But
this is probably a question for Tuesday, but does he recommend you not feed the bees while that's on?
Correct. He wants you to let them eat that. But you know what? I didn't know that when I put mine on. And I've been putting feed on, and they still were eating it and dropping mites. So,
yeah, because when I'm thinking about doing it is like in the dearth, is when they're less brood than they have otherwise. Plus, there's no honey supers, no flow. But I still would like to feed the really light colonies.
Well, it'd be like for me, like after I take the honey supers off, and come July, you could throw them in there.
Yeah, that's when I'm thinking about too.
That is our dearth, but here lately, for the last couple of years, we've had lanternfly honey coming in, and but that might just work quite well.
July and August for us is when the mites go crazy because, the bees, at least out here in the country, they cut back. They don't lay much brood. They kick the drones out, and the mites spike at that time of year. So that'd be a great time to have it on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I have two chats going with this guy, so I'm trying to answer people's questions. What was the last question? Super's on. So yeah, it's not going to hurt the honey. It's not going to hurt the comb, from what he says. It's not going to hurt the bees. The queen's not going to shut down. That's what from his mouth. Which you can ask him again on Tuesday. But the honey supers, the way they stated is not during the honey flow. If you have capped honey in your colony, like we all are going to have some honey in the brood box or somewhere like that, it's not going to affect it. So
I would be concerned about it affecting the taste of the honey, not nothing else.
And
it's like when everybody was putting peppermint on their colonies, I'm thinking they need to have a peppermint honey category at the conference because it's got to get into the honey somehow, right?
Right. You would think. I mean, someone was commenting on the video the other day about Apogard, and I've never used it. Some of you guys have probably used it before, but Todd, you've used it, right?
I'm
So-
using it right now. Yeah.
So it says you use, was it 2 doses of 25, 2 weeks apart?
So I've heard several people say, you know, it depends on, is it 10 deep box? Is it 8 frame deep, whatever, singles, doubles? No. The bottom line is this: 100 milliliters for a total time period of 4 weeks. So 1 month. So what the instructions say is start 50 mLs tomorrow. And in 2 more weeks, 2 more Saturdays, you go back and you squirt another 50 mLs on the cart. And that's it.
So that's
But
50 grams.
No, it's milliliters.
Is that, did you put that up, or Bob?
Yeah, I keep forgetting it. I said that, not Charlie.
So, so you could break it up. You could do 3 doses of 33 milliliters each, or you could do 4 if the weather is really hot. I don't go above 91, 92. That's the highest I'll even chance it. But if you need to go that high, or go when the temperatures are that high, you could do 25. You do 25 once a week for 4 weeks. But you have to remember, you have to think about what the temperature is going to be like in 4 weeks.
So it is 100 milliliters, which someone's saying a milliliter and a gram are about the same.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean,
So if you're at 85 degrees out there, and I'll say, of course, you say you don't have a whole lot of hot humidity, would you hit it at 33 grams for 3 weeks? Or
what I've always done is do that, but I might try 50. But again, you have to think ahead. So what's the weather going to be like? If you're doing 25s, what's the weather going to be like in a month? Is it going to be too cold for her to really lay up? Because what happens when about a week after the product is done in there, that queen's going to go bananas and lay everywhere. She'll lay up a big block, a couple, 2-3 brood frames full of eggs. So you have to keep that in consideration. But if it was 85 degrees,
see you, Chris.
If it got kind of down in the 50s at night, I'd probably do 50 gram or milliliter dose.
See, and let's assume they work the same because they've got the same core product in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, to me, the tablet wins because I've only had to put it in once and forget about it.
Correct.
I'm not having to do it every couple weeks or every week or.
Well, see, that was a problem with me, and I wanted to do it in July, August, and we were right in the middle of the hay season. And here I am working the weekends and whatever. And I was thinking about it. And I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't put Aprogard in there, and I just put Aprovar, because you put it in and leave it for 6 weeks and don't worry about it. You know.
Yeah.
And the Apogard is $150 for 3 kilograms, which will let you work 30 colonies
At 100 at
100 mLs.
Yeah. Now the other thing is on the Appy Tablets Facebook page, I saw a question about how much thymol is in there, and what the answer was 13 grams, or maybe mLs. I don't know. Where's Brad? Brad could pop in and talk about that.
So if it's 13 grams and each one is 70 grams.
But here's my point. Apogard, the active ingredient, 25% of it is thymol. So how does that convert to grams, or vice versa with Appy tablets? So I don't know if the answer in Facebook on the Appy tablets, they meant to say 13% thymol or what. So I don't know what the conversion would be there, but I do know that 25% is an active ingredient in Apogard. So,
well, Russell, Mamet is the gentleman's name that owns the company, says that it will not. And I will say this. The colony that I put that had all the mites, the mite bomb, right? It was, it had already stopped laying 3 weeks ago, right? Because there's only a real handful of cap brood left. But in the last week that it was on there, she had started laying. So I want to say that she had stopped laying from the stress on the colony as compared to
Yeah.
and the dearth.
And the dearth.
Well, I think you already proved to yourself that just beetles alone,
Yeah.
you would get absconding and all that kind of stuff, and they weren't laying and they were mean and all that stuff. And that improved as soon as you put your beetle traps on,
Yep.
bottom boards. And then now you've hit them with the mite load. If it's a heavy mite load, it'll sort of more or less do the same thing.
So it was, I mean, if you haven't watched the video, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can look and see. I couldn't count the mites. There was too many. I mean, it was just too many. And
outrageous.
And
well, counting the mites in the bottom tray really doesn't give you an accurate reading. It just, I mean, it shows you that there's an issue. You know, I use it as just a visual issue. Like, okay, I'll put the chloroplast boards underneath my hives and I'll hit it with OA in the wintertime. Well, I might have one nuke here that's got 1 million mites dropped, and the other ones might only have 10. Well, I got an issue with a high here that's got that many mite drops. I'm going to hit them more often or whatever.
Right.
So, you know, that's one thing. Now, like I say, if you do an alcohol wash, and that'll kind of give you an idea what your percentage is.
Well, as far as that, the Apogard, that just off gases and disappears as it off gases. Is that what that is? I mean, I haven't used it, guys. I haven't watched that many.
Apogard,
Apogard,
the gel,
yeah.
it's a gas.
And then the
It
gel
off gases, and then also the bees try to haul it out of the hive.
Yeah,
and I think that's actually how it's supposed to work.
Spread. Well, the gel is not natural, right? I mean, I don't know of any gels in nature. I don't know what
it's a fumigant, like Brian says.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's also, like Brad, he talked about Apolife Var, which are little
wafers.
Kind of like the tablet then.
Yeah, and you're supposed to put them in the corners, and they chew them and dispose of them and all that stuff.
Yeah, which is very similar how this operates.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting product, guys. I mean, if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot. I mean, treating, you put 1 tablet per 10 frames. So if you got a double deep, it's 2 tablets. If you got a single deep, it's 1 tablet. If you're running a nuke, it's a half a tablet. So, of course, I put a whole tablet in that nuke. So I don't know. There's one nuke out there that was a swarm that had a whole tablet in it. So it might still be there next year at this time. We don't know.
Well, the hive is there right now. That's a good sign, because I mistakenly put a third of a dose of Apogard on a 5-frame nuke, and when I went back to check on them, they were gone.
Really? So, they forced them out.
Yeah. The smell was too much, and they took off. But if that 5-frame nuke of yours that had 1 tablet doesn't,
now they're still there.
Yeah, and that's a good sign.
But I'm surprised Brad didn't hop in yet. He must really be at the honey shelf there.
He's probably spending honey.
Oh yeah, well, he sent me some videos that he was had his stuff in full effect over there.
Can you display him?
Let me see. He sent him. Where did he send him? He sent him in Facebook. Because that's the
And
brand.
he says, wants to know whether the Talbots scored at a break in half. I doubt it. I don't
No.
think they are.
They're not hard though. They're pretty easy to cut there. Let's see the video here, Mr. Hog. Oh, and I put the other one in there. All right, so I have to turn the sound on. Back the truck up. There we go. Now I can present it. Now let's do entire screen. There we go. And I hope I hit the button there. So I guess this is the
Extractor. That's the mechanism.
Let's see, which way was it? Nope, that's me. There he is. I don't know where the sound is. Perfect. Sorry. It's running perfect. I didn't mean to blast everybody's ears out there.
It's not, there's no sound.
Oh, you didn't hear the sound at all? Well, that's
No.
good, because I would have blasted your ears off. And let me see. I did have a video that I saw.
All right, turn that back here. Let's look at that.
Oh, my
That's
tote.
Your tote.
So you see this little plastic piece right here that's sticking out?
Yeah, kind of.
It looks like the tub valve, right? That's in your wall that comes out and just turns down. You take this green ring off and this red plug pops out. And then you put this on it and tighten this back up, and then you open it up and it's just like a tub spout. So I have to find a way to either cut this and run a
All right,
hole.
so what you're saying is that you pull it out and reverse it kind of like a gas can.
Yes, you take this centerpiece out, right? And then you
And
put the nozzle.
flip it around.
Mm-hmm.
And now
This
it's
is
got a
just
spout sticking out.
Yep, but I need to. I'm gonna
Can you
see
blow
if
it? Is there any way of it blowing that up closer?
maybe not that way. That's weird. No, that's it.
You ain't got a magnifying thing, do you? So the green thing on top must be a handle.
This is the valve,
Okay.
right? And then this, you open up, you spin this off. The red plug comes out. You put this in through the hole and then tighten this back down. It's like a tub spout. However, I need to adapt this to run a line out to drain it off the back of the
Well,
truck.
what I did is you take that green ring off of there, and then you find a I don't know whether that's going to be, what is it? A thread. You'll have to see whether that's either a pipe thread or whether that's the one that Brad talked about last week.
It's probably that one that I have to order 5 things for to adapt it.
Well, anyway, the way I got mine is I have like 1.5 feet, a piece of PVC pipe with a 90 degree on the end, and it's got the other part of the pipe is one of them's where the pipe fits in there snugly, and I think it might have been glued in. I'm not sure. And then on the end of it, there's a thread on the inside, and you just thread it in onto that valve, and it's, for your situation, you can
Yeah, I just got to gravity drain it.
gravity drain it, but you get yourself a long enough pipe to do all that.
Yeah, just to run it out over the edge and then tap right there, right? Put my bucket under there, fill it up, or I could even just put a ball valve right there and put a jar and fill my buckets or jars right up from the end, either way. Since I don't have to mix in my tote because it's already pre-mixed, right? I don't have to have the pump and recycle.
No, you don't need all
I
that.
don't need all that. So Amazon has the IBC tote adapters. Okay. It's weird threading. I was thinking you might be able to take a union. You ever seen the union that you screw apart? And it's got It's a
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Maybe you could take
Yeah,
half
but it's Brian. It's I forget what did he call those?
COP or something like that.
No, they're the way the thread is the one side of the thread, instead of the thread being a V thread, one side is straight and the other side is a 45. And it's a special thread.
I'll have to see. Amazon has IBC tote adapters. I'll have to definitely look at it. But I didn't have an option. This was the tote they had. Yeah, I don't think the snap couplers will fit on this because this is all plastic. This whole thing is plastic right here. So, I don't know. But, whoop, that was Brad's. This is what I was meaning to put up.
Mark said, but a buttress thread.
A buttress, that's it.
Since y'all can't hear it anyway, no need for the music to play. But this is what I was talking about. This tablet's already being used in other countries.
What's he doing? Counting?
Look at that. Oh,
how can you count those? How can you count that?
You can't. All you can do is a visual and say, okay,
there's a crap.
I got a mite problem here.
So that's Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Herzegovina.
Okay, there you go. I'm gonna start calling you Brad. Brad corrects me all the time too. Australia.
Yeah. That's where they need it the most right now.
Serbia.
And they're lined up like cows at a trough on that thing.
He actually had some like paint stir sticks underneath it, lifting it up a little bit off the frame. Another guy in Serbia. A lot of B parts in his bottom board there. Ants. Lots of mites though. Turkey.
Damn. Holy cow.
So I don't feel as bad after looking at that.
Wow.
I mean, obviously I'm using an oil board, so this is in Germany here. This one. So it's Italy. So I mean, it's being used in France. I mean, all over the place, just not here yet. So, and I want to say Sebastian mentioned this company to me months ago, to try to get them over here, and little did I know they were here already. So anyway, that's that. Enough of that. But they're Brad, be nice. Get 2 flanges with gaskets and cut a new hole. That'd be all right if I didn't have 250 gallons of syrup in there.
I say
You don't
when
need
that
to do that. You just need to buy a some PVC pipe, a flange, and get the right coupler on the other end of it. It works fine.
And that's the goal. So that's how I'm going to drain it out. So thing is, once I feed,
The main thing of it is take that ring off, that green ring, take it to the
hardware store with me and
hardware store and see if you can't find a matching thread.
It almost looks like, you ever seen those tail pieces that you buy to screw on to the bottom of your sink basket?
Look at click on the link that Lee put up.
Mm-mm-mm.
You just use a hose, garden
Yeah.
hose.
IBC to water tank adapter 2-inch quartz thread. Lead-free brass hose, $20. Prime 2-day. Coupon.
Put that thing on there, and then you could put a garden hose on the end of that if you want it. Looks like at least.
$17. Sold.
Yeah, but I like the. What about this one here? There's if you scroll down, there's a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, I've got a sump pump, but I won't be able to get the sump pump I have down the center, and it's kind of thick, so may not pump very well with that. It says that's going to be here on Sunday, day after tomorrow.
Nice.
So the shouldn't be a big issue. Heck, now all I need is a short length of garden hose. Come on, Brad, we're waiting on you. Step away from the honey.
He's probably eating dinner.
Like this with the honey.
Like Winnie the Pooh.
I lick more honey when I'm extracting honey than I do any other time eat during any time of the year.
I don't think eat that much honey either.
It's let's see. I got too many tabs open. Todd knows.
Yeah, I've been looking. I asked for a refund for the mixer because it's just not powerful enough.
Don't tell him
I
you
might-
just tell
I
him
might
it
have to buy a large drill and rig up something to hold it up.
Just buy a used KitchenAid mixer. You don't have thrift stores there?
What?
You don't have a thrift store where you could buy a used KitchenAid mixer?
I don't know, to be honest.
you'd have. I wonder if KitchenAid would last for a while though.
Look, the one I got was like the belt started jumping within within an hour.
You see what Brad says, get a proper KitchenAid mixer.
KitchenAid mixer, okay. Well, I gotta get a refund for this one first, because that was $200 out the window.
So just add another 100 to it, and you can have a KitchenAid.
KitchenAid mixer. Look at.
They're pretty.
Don't buy anything else. Buy a KitchenAid. Remember, you get what you pay for.
Mark sent me one too. It's
There's Fox Plus.
Part A cam lock adapter. Where's that from? Global Industrial. $12.50.
Yeah, they're $330.
Well, that's what you got to get.
Yeah, because this belt-driven one is poopy.
All right, I got that. We got it. Look, Lee's dropping affiliate links on all these products.
Lee.
Hey Brian, I got my my creaming screw bit in the mail just the other day, so I'll be using that here pretty soon.
Holy crap, Rex. Rex put an order in, son. What you talking about? Thanks, Rex. Man, I might be out of these things. Am I out of them? I'm getting close on it.
You better call the man and order more.
Says I've got 15 packs left out of 48, so I've sold 33 packs of them so far. That's pretty incredible. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. Smart.
Russell's right.
What's the ring the swamp saying is $20 or $82 on eBay?
What, for a KitchenAid?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, eBay. If you got Canadian eBay, I don't know if there's.
I don't know. Well, I'll start by returning this one, then I'll look for another one.
The what was that one?
In the meantime, I guess I could just use the drill.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go like, since the drill attachment is not that large, it shouldn't create too much friction. I might be able to mix
That's what she
the
said.
whole 5-gallon tub.
That's what she said, Alex. Since your adapter
Wow.
isn't that large, you won't cause that much friction. Charlie, you're supposed to laugh at that. You're not even paying
Yeah.
attention. Wake up. It's your stream. Let's go.
I was looking at KitchenAid. I couldn't believe it. $800 for some of them things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass.
That's the big one, though.
No, it ain't. It's a tabletop. It ain't that big. Do you have a restaurant, store, or supply house or anything like that in your area?
I mean, I could look it up, but like I said, there's no.
You
Like,
see Lee
I would
Brown-
look
I
at that
haven't
maybe a
looked at-
restaurant store, like where I got my sugar. They sell, like ice cream freezers and all kinds of appliance
If you're
type
going to
stuff.
pay $800 for a mixer, you might as well just get the creamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. It's what you ought to do if you're going to pay that much money for it.
That last one that
Maybe Alex, you build up your money or savings for one of those creamers from Lyson, but use your drill and that bit until you get there. And
yeah,
then-
because I have like the large bit, like it's like 3 foot long with like a corkscrew end.
yeah.
But
So-
I would need to rig something to hold the drill because that's ridiculous. Holding like
Yeah.
by hand.
Build something out of scrap wood and go that route until you have enough money to buy one of those creamers, and then you're good.
Because it did a nice job actually. Like the cream honey looks good. Crystals are a bit big because the belt started skipping, and I stopped it. But it does make a nice result. I just need something that's
Think of
tougher.
it this way. Okay, let's say you buy the KitchenAid right now. You're gonna get to a point where you're gonna need the creamer anyway. So
yeah.
why go with that expense and then try to sell it, or you might just sit on it.
I mean, like with Brian from Flower Street, I think that's how he did it for quite a long
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
with just a drill and that squirt corkscrew thing.
In buckets.
And then you got to makes a few more sales and just put it in your honey money sale thing. And
Well, that I ended
Brian
up
said
with
it
like a
could be-
nice amount of seed. Again with the jokes of seed cream honey, because I went from about
Goes out.
250
Red
grams. I
seed
don't know how
everywhere
much it
again.
is in ounces. I scaled it up, like I dumped a whole bunch of honey in the bowl, and it turned all into creamed honey. I could use that and transfer it into the 5-gallon pail from last year and turn that whole bucket into creamed honey, then start mixing in the flavors.
yeah, there you go. I mean, I don't know much about it, but I mean, it sounded like to me you got it together on it.
Alex, if you did that and you had one 5-gallon bucket or thereabouts, what are you using? 8-ounce jars, like half pint jars?
250 milliliter jar. How much is it in an ounce?
half
Calculator, Google, please.
Somewhere around a half, I think, right?
Yeah, somewhere
Is
around-
ounce a unit of volume or mass?
Anyway, but my point is, how many of those can you get out of a 5-gallon bucket?
A lot.
And then how much are you charging?
$10 for like a pot. Like a pot is 255, like 5 gallon. That's I can give you I can do some rough math.
It's half a pound, right? So you're making double the money.
Yeah, so I mean, if
5 gallon.
That's
is 19
he's making about
liters.
$10 a pound on the creamed. Where I think normal is what, 3 to 5 in Canada.
I don't know the regular price of creamed honey in Canada, to be honest.
It's whatever you set it at. You're the creamed honey guy in Canada.
So yeah, it's about $760 worth of creamed honey in one 5-gallon pail.
Where it would be $600 of runny honey here. So that's much better. And we have a higher price on runny honey than you do. So you're making quite a bit more profit doing it that way there.
You muted, Todd. Oh, he's
He's
gone.
probably talking to somebody, I think.
My daughter's here. She's selling honey for me. I'll be right back.
Okay. I sold $60 in honey while I was going to get sugar. Today.
To answer Brad, like I sell 250 milliliters. So I don't know how much it is in gram, but it sells very well. So I assume it's around 375 gram, since honey is fairly dense.
12 ounces.
All right. Well, there's what Brad's telling you right now. 375 G's sells for $10 all day long around here.
Sorry, guys.
12 ounces, probably. Because 475 Raiders at 454 ounce.
And did you figure out
454 is a
bucket?
pound.
How many of those are in a bucket, Alex? I'm just trying to do the math. See how
In the bucket, there's roughly 75. No, there's got to be more. Like,
so
All right. 454 grams is 1 pound.
pound. So
He's 3/4 of a pound for $10. Is what he was charging.
so
yeah, about that.
Brian,
There's 60 pound in the pail, so about $760 per
so
pail.
about, well, 3.5 buckets, and you got yourself a creamer. How fast do they go?
Really fast. Well, if anything's to be taken from what I sold at the office barbecue, yeah, they sell pretty quick, especially cinnamon.
Yeah.
Other flavors, so not so much. Hot honey is almost as good as cinnamon. So those two recipes would probably sell the most.
It sounds like what would be good for you is to do like 75% cinnamon and maybe 2 other flavors at that other 25% of what you are going to make, but make it all up now so you are selling it instead of selling, stopping, selling, stopping. You know?
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, that's Fox Plus, James.
So
29,
that's
3,700.
that's what I would do, Alex, because then you could get that amount really quick, or you could get to your goal really quick. And then guess what? You've taken a look at those creamers, right?
Yeah, the smallest one, the 50 gallon, 50 pound
yeah.
one.
They're
is,
simple, right? They're
About
so easy.
$1,000.
No more holding a drill and doing this and that. You can program it to spin at night if you want for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever length of time you want. So that's where you want to get. So try to get there the fastest way you can. I think if you make up all your product now and sell it from now through the winter time, in springtime you're probably there, or maybe earlier. Who knows?
Brad, the lemon creamed honey is just like lemon juice in honey, or lemon oil.
Might be lemon zest.
I thought I heard Brian say that he uses powders. So, you get a lemon.
I use powders, strawberry, blueberry, cacao powder. Well, they don't sell as well as cinnamon
I wonder.
or habanero.
But seriously, Alex, if cinnamon's going that good, make 75% of it cinnamon, and then
a few extra flavors just to have an option.
I'd only do 1 or 2 other ones. And
What's
then,
Well, the
Why
main thing of it
people
is
say,
like,
give me a cinnamon and let me try the lemon.
Yeah.
Or let me try the blueberry, or let me try the habanero,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll use the drill for now.
Creamer.
And look up once I get the refund. I'll look up the KitchenAid.
there you go.
Yeah, that's what
There
Brian.
you go. Look at that there. Alex,
That's
read
the
that.
plan.
That's
the
there's your path.
Yeah, exactly. There's your
Buy
path.
the drill to fund the creamer. Use the creamer to fund the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, seriously, that's how you should look at it.
And I gotta tell you,
And before you, Bob, I'm sorry to step on you, Bob, but Alex, if you do that, Don't sell a whole bunch of nukes. Don't sell a whole bunch of queens. Sell creamed honey. Then when you get to a point where you have the creamer, it might give you extra time to sell the nukes and the queens, and you start out small there, and then you progressively build, and there you go.
Yeah, because like when I looked at the amount of work I had with the job I currently have, I can't go above 30 hives. It's not possible.
Yeah, just focus on what your success is going to be, and right now it sounds like it's creamed honey, so that's what I would do. I'd zero in on that.
Massive.
I'm sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to.
No. I was about to say,
Your cream honey is your money flow.
it's your cash cow.
That's the cash
Since
cow.
I have about 1,200 pounds, that's gonna be nice.
That's what you got in honey right now.
Yeah, roughly. It's an estimate. I haven't finished extracting yet. I still have 7 supers to extract.
All right. Well, then,
Bless you,
Brian was talking about Carl. He's supposed to send me some
That's from. Sorry,
peanut butter honey. Of course, I like peanut butter.
I got asked for that this very day. Peanut butter honey. And to answer Flower Street Farm Bees, that's from 10 hives, 1,200 pounds. I had 10 production hives this year.
Yes. So if you're selling creamed honey at $10 for that pot, and I'm doing it by pounds, it'll actually be more.
Yeah.
So at $10 a pound, that's $12,000. So you're probably closer to about 15 because it's.
Oh, there it is, right there,
percent of a pound.
right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
I was trying to do the rough Canadian estimate.
Yeah.
That's called cha-ching, cha-ching,
Yeah.
cha-ching.
Yeah, with
Focus.
that money, I could
Laser
probably,
focus.
And then
It's
next year,
in front of
you're-
you, just get it.
next year, you're 30 colonies because they're going to be production colonies. They're going to be strong, right? Now, all of a sudden, 3 times that, right? Now you could possibly be at $45,000. And I don't know how much you make at your job, and that's
Not a
your
whole
business.
lot. It's barely above the minimum wage.
So 45,000 in honey sales is probably more than you make at your regular job. So you might consider, but you always, there's bad years and good years. So
Yeah, 30 hives is pretty risky quitting my job. Although I could do part-time winter jobs.
it's risky if you had $100,000 a year job to quit for 30.
Yeah.
If you're making minimum wage, 30 hives and making that much honey, it's not that much of a risk if you got a good product and you build your clientele.
Also, like from what I hear, strawberry honey is pretty
Thanks,
good.
Mike.
It tastes a lot like caramel.
Well, if you think about it, minimum wage jobs aren't hard jobs to find. So if you need to get another minimum wage job and something that you like to do better than what you're doing, then there you go. I mean, that's not
the reason I kind of like I'm still in this job is because I work from home. It gives me a lot of time. As soon as I have a break, I can just get up and start working on my bees. That's what I've been doing, building the top insulation I showed you the other day. I'm building 15 more of those, and every time I get a break during my lunch break is 45 minutes. Most of it, I just scarf down my food and go to the living room and start working on those. I'm about halfway done for the 15 insulation boxes.
Yeah, but if you can sell this 1,200 pounds of honey as creamed, you got enough money there, I think, to buy yourself a creamer. So while you're working, Mr. Creamer is over there working for you.
And
While you're playing video games.
If you're making $14,000, don't buy the 50-liter creamer either. Buy something a little bigger.
Yeah, because next year I'm going to have a lot more honey.
You're going to have to think about capacity down the road. So,
well, the 18-gallon is a double it's a water jacketed bottling tank with the creamer attachment on it. So now it's dual purpose, right? You can bottle and you can warm your honey.
So that's another thing to think about. So just the good thing,
we're good at spending your money. I'm going to tell you that right now. We'll spend your money all day long. We're good at it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that with just the number of trucks you've been suggesting, even though they're jokes.
Well, we're doing
the
that.
little clown one was really funny though. The little black one, the one seater was funny.
But Alex, think of it this way: you have so many options right now. Like you described your, you work from home job that gives you some luxury of time. And you have, the creamed honey side that can really start kicking in the revenue to allow you to upgrade your things that will give you more time and more capacity. So you have lots of options. Don't stop where you're at. I really think that you're kicking into gear here with what would work for you. And the most important thing is find out what works for Alex. And I think
that could allow me to move to a better place too.
Correct.
With more money.
Yeah.
Because this apartment is there's crazy nearby, and
I tried to do something.
And, it's so small. I need at least a garage I could convert into a honey house.
Yeah. I wanted to do something yesterday, but I realized my mic was muted after I did it. So I wanted to give you the standing ovation for achievement this year, and that's not sarcasm. I'm genuinely, not generally, genuinely excited for you, Alex, because I've seen.
Thank you, Fox. Thank you, Fox. Thank you, Fox.
Hey, where the hell were you on my stream? Just saying, you're my friend. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks for all the $9.99s.
But I
appreciate it.
Alex, I think your whole demeanor has changed over this past year, and your outlook and your optimism. And when it was so amazing when you went to that show or the cookout for work and you came on the stream, you were beaming like a flashlight, smiling. And that was like a happy moment. I was like, man, that's great. That's awesome. So,
yeah, like creamed honey, like I really am grateful to Brad for this idea, because ordinary honey kind of sells. Like the reaction I got from like even this small sample size for creamed honey was really surprising. I made more money this year from selling less honey.
Yeah, you're not
last year at the same barbecue, because it's an annual thing at work. Sold a lot less honey, but I made more money.
And you're not done. You still got a ton of honey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot more than last year.
The thing of it is, it sounds like to me in your area, there's lots of honey to be bought.
Yeah, there's.
You have competition when it comes to liquid honey.
Yes.
But you don't have the competition when it comes to cream. So you're the man. Yep. You're the guy that everybody wants to go to get honey, creamed honey, because you're the only one doing it.
Yeah.
So that you need to, keep focusing on that.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do, since I have the hives and I don't have the facilities. Like, I want to try.
But it fits your facility right now. A creamer is small.
Yes.
And you can get, like you say, you double your money. And you don't have to have a great big facility.
Do you have a coffee shop that you go to regularly?
I don't drink coffee, so no.
Start drinking coffee. Go to, what I'm saying is places that if a lot of people drink coffee. If you got a local coffee shop that you would go to all the time and you're friendly with them, you might ask them, hey, can I put a little podium up here with my creamed honey and just do a free sampling? Take a jar of each or whatever, and just out there and buy you a thing of bagels or whatever, like they do at Costco and stuff, where you're standing there letting people sample and then they sell it, right? Or give them your
along with like the squeeze bottles. Those were pretty light.
Yeah, so I mean, you can just let them taste it, right? And then they're like, "Oh, this is really good." And then,
I'll tune in, Jason.
yep, we'll be there. 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, AM.
6:30. I won't be doing anything yet. I have to wait till my coffee kicks in.
See, coffee drinker. Boom.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Do you have a local tea shop that you like to go to? It is a French area.
I'm kind of a hermit. I don't get out much.
You need to get out.
You need to get out with your creamed honey, Alex.
Yeah.
You got a product that people like. Don't just shelve it to certain people. Get it out.
You got to be what do you call it? Outgoing.
Just
Or
set up the table.
You hire someone that's out.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit of an introvert. That's the.
Well, you got to change that. That's got to change.
Remember what Ian's always says or has said in a lot of his videos. He gets outside of his comfort zone, whether it's speaking in front of people or doing something different in the bee yard. He takes that chance, and I think you need to take that chance. And you'll be surprised at what happens when you do that. I guarantee you.
Well, some guys were. I think even didn't Philip say he sold like $800 worth of honey at his first market?
Yeah. Yeah. So just take that step. It's not going to hurt you. What's the worst that could happen? You don't sell anything. Well, guess what? If you stay at home, you're not selling anything. So what?
And it'll get to the point. Like I was going to get syrup, and a guy calls me. I'm on my way over, so I call my wife and tell her a guy's coming to get honey, and she sells them 2 jars and made $60. So it's like they will search you out for sure.
If you build it, they will come.
That's it. If you build it, they will come.
But bottom line is, Alex, I'm happy to see you progressing. That's very good. That's a really good job.
Not as a beekeeper, but as an entrepreneur.
Correct.
But that's the challenging part for me. The entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur, because like I said, I don't deal with people easily.
Yeah, but the fact that you get excited about something.
There you go, Alex.
Hermit Creamed Honey Company.
With a hermit crab holding honeycomb.
That's what was the we used to have a story. What was it about the troll that lived under the bridge? Remember that? And he would come out and he'd make people pay. There was a story. It's like a fable or something.
It's an old fairy tale. Yeah, I know about it.
Yeah.
It's a Troll Under the Bridge Honey Company. Never see the owner, right? You just never see him. It's the fun. But of course we're joking. Yeah, that's it. Bob has a point. My honey sells if people taste it. That's it. If you can just talk to somebody, even if you have to give them, hey, I want to be out here for an hour. Can I give you $20 or whatever to sit my little, just a stand? It doesn't have to be a table, just a little stand.
It could be a wooden crate, a fruit crate. You stand it on in and put some jars on there and just stand
or
there.
like what Lee does, stacked hive boxes.
Yep, they're expensive. That's expensive.
Yeah,
stand.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
It's a big desk. But you get what we're saying. You just you don't have to spend all this money on a table and a canopy. Just go out there with something simple, put it out there, stand there for an hour. Try an hour. Just see what happens.
Keith, I can't believe Bob called Alex a troll.
I said,
No. I don't think
I didn't mean it that way. I mean, if you, I guess the politically correct way is if you identify as a troll, I'm okay with it.
Oh, nah, not this.
I know your trolldom will not convert me to trollism. Look, he gave you some pesos too.
Yeah, thank you, Fox Plus. And thanks for helping me out getting monetized and all the other type stuff that you've done for everybody else too.
Alex singing "Honey" on the street corner in high heels. Yes, that's it.
What?
You could always like hire a prostitute for an hour to stand out there next to you in a bikini and try our troll under the bridge honey. Creamy Dreamy Honey Co.
Oh my gosh.
Or the
That
dream.
would, that would work.
This is getting
you know.
off the
I
rail.
guarantee you.
Real quick.
You want some cream honey, dude, they'd be running right in there. All she has to do is bend over. How about buying this for $20? Yeah, I'll take that.
Big Bad Mike Ogre called humble Alex a troll.
This has turned into the marketing hour for Alex. It's we're coming up with some good ideas here.
Hey, the Creamy
you, Steve.
Dreamy Honey Co. There you go. And then you get some girls in bikinis to model your different flavors on a poster. You come up with 12 different flavors and you have a different flavor for each month. And then you can sell the calendar at your little stand too. So if they don't want the honey, they can buy the girls.
That's an idea. Actually, it probably would work. That's the strangest part.
There's a reason why these big companies use attractive females to market their
It
products.
sells.
It sells. But anyway, that's down the road. We're just playing around right now.
It's like
but-
Todd's X. It sold right well. What is it? Was called the?
She had a
Food kitty.
What's it called?
Brilliant,
A hairless kitty.
The smooth kitty.
Oh, the smooth kitty. That's right.
Yeah. So it worked.
You know.
He says how
Oh.
quickly things can sell.
Of course, I knew what it was right off the bat when she told me.
It's a recession. There you go. But yeah. Now I'm gonna have to go to like Logo Creator and come up with some different designs. If I get time this weekend for Tuesday night, I say, Alex, I came up with some logos for you and put them on the screen.
That's what she was selling. A bottle every customer went out after our smooth kitty opera
Yeah. We
performance.
sold a lot of honey there.
The stream is going downhill fast. We're still talking about bee-related stuff, though.
I just mentioned honey, so that's
Jason done went. That's funny. Okay, we got to get off that topic.
we're off the side of the road in the
Like
ditch.
the
We need
like
to get
make
back
a
on-
label. Sorry, make a label like like the front of the old B-52 flying fortresses in World War II.
Yeah, with the pinup girl on it.
Pin up with holding a jar of honey.
It'd work. Guaranteed.
Okay.
There are 1.6K watching, by the way.
It was
It went down from the 3,000. What did we do?
Yeah, it was 3,000.
We
Jason.
lost 1,400 during that segment.
All right, switch gears.
Can you guys hear me? I'm unmuted.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Because I just read the comment from
Brad said that.
from Brad.
Alex can be the Hooters of honey. All right. Philip says if you're going to a market, you'll want a nice canopy, table, etc. With my banner and everything, I didn't spend more than $400 worth every penny.
Well, all I'm saying is start out simple and get to the $400. Get that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, you can always buy one thing at a time and slowly build
Like
it
a
up.
small IKEA table with a honeycomb tablecloth. That's it.
Yeah.
And a chair.
all you need. You could
Dude,
go.
you
to
can
the
buy
fabric-
that at a fabric store.
Yeah, go to the fabric store. If you buy one of those, little white card tables that fold up into, in half, and you could carry it. Measure
Samsonite.
that and go to the
Okay.
fabric store. And
Now it's an official stream. Grammy jumped in on it.
Hey, Grammy.
You can have honey wrestling. You can get like a blow up pool and do honey wrestling.
Honey
5
wrestling.
gallons of 5 gallons of canola honey, and see how long it takes it to solidify while they're wrestling it.
Oh my God.
Actually, you could just put some creamed honey seed in there, and they could cream your honey for you while wrestling in bikinis in the honey.
lot
It's
of
the whole
cream.
shtick. It's a whole
It's
shtick.
food
Right there.
safe after though.
All right, we're still in the ditch on the side of the road. Get back on the pavement. Come on.
Oh, let me see. James said he spent 130, and then granola wrestling. So the granola sticks to him.
6-foot folding table at Costco. Yeah, I have to go to Costco to buy
See?
some more sugar anyway.
Look,
'Cause
then
I've
you can
only,
charge admission. David said he'd pay to see the honey wrestling.
I still have to give each of my hives another 3-gallon pail, so I have to go to Costco again.
I wonder what the
And 14
Department of
more bags.
Agriculture would say up there about honey wrestling.
Honey wrestling.
So
Definitely
where
gets
does the
close
midget
to-
come in? We have to have a midget referee. Or it could be midget women honey wrestling. That way you can do a smaller kiddie pool instead of the big blow-up pool.
We went from a ditch to a canal.
Hey, I'm just commenting on the
Someone
comment.
needs to pull us out of
We
the.
got to give the people what they're asking for.
We are descending rapidly into the gutter right now.
We just lost another 100 people.
I'm just
all
saying.
right. Let's get back. I seen something here about Formic Pro. Does it shut the brood down? I have never seen that happen.
Bob just drives the truck off the road. That's it. Hey,
But it was a fun drive, though.
hey, that's what we do. It's comedy and bees and everything else.
Much better than counting tragedy.
By the way, what's up with the Snickers creamed honey?
Well, the Snickers powder is here.
Yeah.
The honey's in the tank, and the seed is still in the jar. So nothing. It's at ground zero right now.
Okay.
But I got a tote of sugar syrup. So
Well, I suggest you try a small batch first if it's good.
no monetization tonight. We didn't say anything. We haven't cussed, really, have we?
No.
So there's nothing wrong
Alex
with
said
midget
a few
wrestling.
cuss words, but that was it.
Alex did under his breath. Well,
Yeah,
that's
thank you.
he speaks French anyway, so it's like you can't tell the difference.
I mean, I could start swearing French, but no.
Thank God for all the super chats because you're not getting any ad revenue tonight. Oh my gosh. Where's
All right,
Brad?
where were we? Someone said Formic.
Icy Mountain Honey says I'm in stitches tonight. See, there you go. We're having fun. That's what matters.
There's it is. Shane talked about no eggs, no larvae. Couldn't find the queen in 4 out of the 5. Now, I will have to say, if it's hot up there,
Yeah.
Formic will kill your queen.
Yep.
That's why I put it on here last Thursday. I started, and it had went down to, let's say, 75 degrees during the day, 75 to 80 at the height. And then it's been, well, like right now, it's getting like this over the week, 61 degrees right now. And of course, now it's been 7 days today, a little over maybe 8 days. It's been on the hive. So if I wait till beginning of next week, I think that's when I'm going to start putting feeders on and probably pulling it because it's probably going to be dried out by that time. I know it's a 14-day treatment, but
Hey,
you know, what do you say? Here's the
you
boss
know,
man.
Shane, with the I went through a small colony 2 days ago, and it took me 3 passes, and she's got a big blotch of red paint on her, and I couldn't find her. Well, there's that bee man.
Hey, Brad.
That be mad.
Yeah, the new Thursday night sensation.
Yeah, right. Go up against Umberto, see if I get a crowd. We did okay.
Yeah, it did okay. Did you ever figure out how many watch hours you got on that now?
Well, I can look. 96. That's what it says.
How much?
96.
96 hours?
That's what it says. Watch time 96.2 hours.
That's pretty good.
Is that good?
Well, I mean, it's not your first live stream, but it's not a regular thing you do. I think it's pretty good. 96 watch hours for one. I mean, if you figure you do a video and someone they watch 5-10 minutes of it and you get 300, that's not 96 hours. I mean,
we held a crowd though. We peaked 105 viewers and averaged 83.
it's pretty good.
The curve is pretty flat all the way across.
Well, Ian was there.
Little blip down when Ian left. What's that?
I said Ian was there, so I mean, that kind of.
Well, that's the thing. It was doing good. Ian left, and it just kind of dropped a little bit.
I actually gained a few subs off of that last night. Today, so that was good.
Oh yeah.
I think
I was actually looking at yours, and you got quite a few views on that.
Which one? The live stream?
On my live stream, yeah. Like you got a lot of views on your channel on it.
Oh, on the share on the post.
Yeah.
I just shared so they would click that link and come over to your channel. So in case, tonight I share Charlie's out to my community. So anybody that's
I thought you were
no, I didn't.
Kind of broadcasting on your channel.
No, sir. You see. So
good.
now that Brad's here, we can't talk about it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I've been here the whole time. I've just been filling my face.
Well,
honey.
Well, I looked at my watch hours on the last video last week. I guess it was 116 hours.
Yeah, so that 96 hours is
about right
in that ballpark. It's all right. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming by. That was really appreciated.
Are you planning to make that a regular thing, or are you just kind of?
I don't think I can commit to say let's do this every week.
Especially with the 37 you do with me.
Well, it doesn't I don't know which channel I'm on. It's like just Charlie's and Lee's and Bob's.
Yeah, I mean
that's why I didn't think to introduce you guys, because it was just the same old crowd kind of thing, and I didn't catch on to where I was really.
And Charlie didn't either, and it was like he started right in on the conversation. I was like, "Oh, slow down. They don't know who we are. They know who he is. It's his channel."
Well, totally good point. I've got to not take that for granted.
Well, we are famous in our own minds, so
you're a legend in your own mind.
Legend in our own minds, right? And DC says Brad got sucked into the no life beekeepers crowd.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, this is the wrong crowd, is what this is. This is
you're in with the wrong crowd now.
That's right.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
sometimes
we're the cool
kids.
Be in
the wrong crowd. Yeah, we're the cool kids.
Did you so how much honey did you get extracted out today? Do you reckon?
Oh, I don't know. Not very much. I was kind of backed up in the system because I had to pail out the honey that was in the melter. So I don't know, 500 pounds or so. But the big news is I started yard 2 today, and our tally for yard 1 was 7,250 pounds. That's crazy.
That was yard number 1.
All over the home yard, yeah.
On the home yard.
Yeah, that's the yard you see on my videos most.
And then this next, how many out yards do you have? 1 or 2?
Just 1.
Just the 1. That was the one with James's.
Yeah.
And when you figure you might get off of that, have you figured that out?
2,500, maybe. I don't know.
So you end up around
10.
You should end up around 10.
9 at least. I'm thinking. Conservatively 9.
I bet that's a lot more than you thought at the beginning of the year, or not the beginning, but in spring.
Well, middle of May, I was thinking I might get 1,000 pounds. But yeah, it's very different than I thought it might be, and it's way more than last year. Like last year was a pretty low year, because of the goofy weather. The honey flow was just terrible here. I can't remember how much I got, maybe 6,000 or something, and it sold out really fast.
Bread
I
doesn't
think
help
you
a lot.
retail all yours, don't you?
I direct sale and retail everything. It all goes out of here in jars and pails. Yeah, all of it. It's just a model. It kind of works for me. It's a lot of work, but sort of works for me.
And to think like you started with a really crappy beginning with all those losses from raw, and to see you recover like that, it's so nice. I love seeing
Yeah.
that happen.
You lost, what was
Yeah,
it, 75% of your hives, Brad?
75%. Yeah. So I went in to winter last year with about 150 colonies, and by the end of May, about 75% of them were gone. And today there's probably 200 heartbeats out there.
Nice.
No, half of them are nukes, but like I say, there's 200 heartbeats, so maybe we can come out of winter with something decent, and with the nosema under control. If I get my mites under control, my mites are pretty high, so it's looking up, I think. Really.
And the silver lining of having
Might
all
be.
those losses, those that survive are more resistant to whatever happened to you.
Well, yeah, there's always that, right? Somebody said that to me a few years ago after I lost some bees, and they said, "Well, those hives you have left, they're the tough ones. They went through this really terrible winter and they didn't die." So that's what really makes me want to get out the grafting tool, right? Get those really tough ones and start making babies off them.
Well,
Well, I mean, and then you also went through several thousand frames of wax and redid wax, all brand new wax in your hives. And good night, Fox Plus. Good to see you.
Hey,
Thanks for the all the money that you gave out tonight for me. But now you got
I rendered about 400 frames. It was the count there, and my wife built almost all of them, all but maybe 20. I think I built this year.
Those are 20 that you're showing her how to do, and then it's like, here you go.
No, I think I needed some. I don't know. I was doing some transfers and I needed some frames, so I went and banged together 20 or 30 frames. But she built hundreds, many hundreds, like 500, 600, 700 frames.
That's amazing.
This summer. Yeah, she was a real powerhouse in there.
Was that?
I bring her.
Was there free labor involved, or was there a living wage? Just wondering.
Well,
it all goes in the same pot.
We have a special relationship. But I was just going to say, I bring all the supplies up to her, frame parts and the foundation. Those foundation boxes are really heavy, and so I made this little station where she builds the frames, and so I bring all our materials up, and it's constantly, I need a box of foundation, need another box of foundation, need some more top bars, need some more end bars, and it's like, holy cow, you're really giving her.
Look at this, we're blessed tonight. Look at that.
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
It's almost like a Sasquatch sighting. We know he exists, we just don't see him that often.
Oh wait, I gotta fix something. Hold on.
He's full time. He doesn't have a lot of time anymore. He's commercial now. Did you see
I could host more shows. Winter's coming. Yeah.
All right, I think I fixed it. Hey guys,
what's going on?
Oh, work. That's why you never see me. I'm busy working while I'm on here listening. But just being super busy. Brad, it was a great conversation last night. Really enjoyed that. I like
Thanks, buddy.
the themed conversation. That was really nice. Kind of the round table.
Oh, good.
Getting all the different perspectives of that same idea. It was a great conversation.
Well, thanks for that feedback. It was just something different I thought I'd try, and I wasn't sure how it was going to come off. So thanks for that feedback.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So how you guys doing tonight?
You know,
We're doing good.
We survived the ditch and the canal.
Oh, just
On the
barely though,
Yeah.
Todd. Just barely.
Just barely. Yeah.
This is what I'm doing tonight. Cream and honey.
There you go,
Making
Alex.
honey.
Take notes
Yeah,
now.
I
Take
could have
notes.
guessed that.
It's not that big. It'll fit in a small apartment for
Yeah.
sure.
And what size is that?
This is the 18 gallon.
Is that the small one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think,
that could be
I
a
think
good
it's the
starting point,
smallest.
and eventually, when you get a bigger one, make the small batches with this, and the big batches with the other one.
Yeah, but now
Earlier,
like how Brian does it. He does his bulk creaming out of the tank, and then if he's flavoring, he'll bottle it into a smaller container, and then he'll add his flavoring, and cream it in there, mix that up, and then
Yeah.
he jars it from the smaller tote.
So I'll do 5-gallon buckets of specialty batches and then just a big batch of creamed honey in this thing. And then the cool thing is you have a couple of gallons of that creamed honey in here. The world's your oyster, man. You add liquid honey into it, give it 2 days. You can jar it down and then just add it back up. And that seed, it takes your seed a while to get to a certain size. But once you get your seed to like a gallon, that's what I was doing in a 5-gallon bucket too. Once I got my seed up to a gallon, I'd add like 2 more gallons of liquid honey. Then I'd have 3 gallons. And that was for me, Alex, the most I put in a 5-gallon that I was comfortable mixing. If I put too much in, it got too hard to mix it. But then all I would do is just jar it down to the top of the gate. And that left about a gallon left in the bottom of the bucket. And then just repeat, put 2 more gallons of liquid honey into it, mix it again. And it's when your ratio is that small, it creams so much quicker too. You know, they say 10-to-1 ratio to start. Well, when you adjust that ratio, it adjusts the rate that the honey creams.
like 9-to-1 would cream a little faster, I guess, because there's more seed.
Right. But once you get to that bucket, you know, if you've got 1 gallon of creamed honey and then 2 gallons of liquid honey, then that ratio is reduced tremendously.
Yeah.
And then you can just turn it over so much quicker. So I was doing that in a 5-gallon bucket, and now I'm doing that in the creamer. So I'll put like 12 gallons into it. I'll jar it down to like 4 gallons and then add liquid honey back into it. And it goes so quickly. It's really nice. And you want to make sure that the honey's setting in your jar. You don't want it to set in whatever vessel you're creaming it in, because then you won't be able to get it in the jar.
LCs.
So when
All
you
right, now, is that a heat? You heat the tank, Brian, or not?
You can. I've seen people do that.
I mean, I don't know nothing about it. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely the long game filling jars of creamed honey for sure. So find a really good stream that's on at like, you know, like Friday night.
Sawmill Charlie, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
famous.
I was going to say,
Sawmill.
Alex, I hope you're taking notes, buddy, because you got the king right here. You got it right from the horse's mouth. Somebody
Well,
who's
it's
learned
not
it.
like I would say we have the best creamed honey. I'm not saying we're world famous for creamed honey, but I've certainly dialed it in. And
You've
over
been
the
around
past
a while.
couple of years, I've taken a situation like, how do we deal with our situation of selling honey in Colorado? And I figured out how to leverage it for who we are.
Which flavor sells best for you?
Still experimenting with that. I know Brad's a big fan of the cinnamon, but we haven't had it sell at the ratios that he's recommending that you make it at, but that doesn't mean it's not going to sell. We sell our cinnamon well. We sell our plain well. We're selling our blueberry really well right now. And another thing we've been trying to do is kind of rotate flavors in and out seasonally. we're doing in 2 weeks. I live in a town called Lakewood, and it's got an apple heritage. So Cider Days is the big harvest festival coming up in a couple of weeks. So we made an apple cinnamon spice creamed honey to match that event. So it's like a special product just for that event. Colorado is pretty renowned for its peaches as well. So next year we might make like a creamed peach honey. So kind of picking up on some of the local kind of themes like that. And then we do an espresso infused honey. It's not a creamed honey, but we do that throughout the summer. And then I'll take like a 3-gallon bucket of honey and put ground espresso beans into it and let it sit for like a month or two, and it'll crystallize. And then I'll re-liquefy it. I'll filter that out, and then I'll make a creamed honey out of that. So an espresso infused creamed honey. And everything we're making like that is super small batch. We're talking like 3-4 gallons at the most. So that's part of what we leverage. You know, these are small batches. These are specialty honeys, and we won't have them in 3 weeks. So you better buy it today.
So Brian,
yeah, yes, sir.
2 questions. You use the dice method, right?
No, not really. I don't take it up to, the dice method asks you to take it up to a temperature to kill any bacteria really quickly. It's like 100. I don't know what the temperature is really quickly. Yeah, but I never do that. I've never had to. Our honey is really dry here, and I bet yours is pretty similar, Todd, in the dry environment of California. I think that's something that's more a necessary step when your honey is more higher in that moisture content. I've never had a problem with it. So I just cream it. I start with a seed. I start with my own honey that's crystallized. I like to, I'm like a purist like that. I like to say, this is my seed that it came out of. I think it creates a better story. I don't think it creates a better honey necessarily, but it creates a better story. Yeah, this came from my honey. I made this completely. Not I went to the store and I bought a really nice creamed honey and made creamed honey out of it. It's going to make just as good a creamed honey, but it doesn't make as good of a story.
Okay. So how do you keep it at a constant, how do you hold it at a constant temperature? Because it's what, around 58, 60?
Yeah,
you get
that's been something I've been working on. Selling creamed honey in the summer at a market is really challenging because if it's going to get to 90 degrees, it's not going to be creamed honey by the end of the day.
No.
So we've had to be, and that's why we kind of go through, one of the things we do is we don't necessarily start our creamed honey till like midway through the summer. So to get that batch going towards the end of the summer and into the fall, because I don't want to be fighting that creaming process for every market event. Now, we did start bringing creamed honey to markets in small batches, but we've got a little cooler that we've been bringing it. So we'll have like a couple on the table. We'll have the taster, but everything else is in the cooler, trying to keep that temperature for that day. I've set our creamed honey at room temperature right here in my house, and it's done a really nice job. That's one of the things I'm looking to kind of improve on my creamed honey is get some sort of refrigerated enclosure so I can put it into that 57, whatever that dialed in temperature is to do that.
So when you're holding it in your house, it's probably, you're looking at the lowest you could get. So you're probably in the 60s somewhere.
Yep.
And if that is what a roundabout temperature is, and how long do you hold it like that, or try to hold it like that?
What do you mean by hold it? Because I got cases sitting right over there in a box. I'm not sure I'm holding it or not, but it's sitting there.
Well, I mean, like you the constant temperature. If you're gonna hold it, if you're gonna store it in your house at 65 degrees.
Yeah.
How long does it take to set?
Yeah, and that depends on a lot of other factors as well, like the type of honey that it is, how long you've creamed it for, that kind of thing. But usually, if I cream honey and I put it in a jar, within 3 days, I feel comfortable selling it.
Okay.
Because it's already started creaming for another 3 days, and that customer might go home and start eating it that day, but they're not going to eat the whole thing that day for sure. And part of the reason we got into this was because our honey, like we were fighting crystallization within weeks of putting it into a bottle. So we were trying to warm bottles before bringing it into a market. So the first thing I learned was not to put a whole bunch of labels on bottles until you know you're going to be selling them pretty quickly, because it's a whole lot easier to reliquefy a bottle in water. And this was when I was super small scale, right? I was reliquefying in a water bath on my stove. So, I mean, once you get doing more and more, you find other ways to do it. You watch this guy's channel, Sawmill something, and you learn how to make a heating tank, and you keep your honey warm in there. But that temperature thing, Todd, is something I want to improve on. I need to get like a wine cooler and then cases of creamed honey. I just want to store in that wine cooler all the time.
Do you feel like if you have a large different, variety of flavors, that you find that, someone, let's say they're coming for cinnamon, but they'll say, you know what, this pumpkin spice honey sounds like it might be good.
Absolutely.
And then they buy it.
Yep. And that's that tasting station, Bob. They came there for one thing in particular, and they might walk away with that thing and then one other thing, especially if it's like a couple, like a guy and a gal, right? And the one person came for the one type of honey, but then they're like, yeah, sure, I'll try this new one. Oh, look, we brought a new flavor today. Do you want to try it? Sure. And that often leads to a sale.
See, Alex, you write the notes.
And here's the other thing, Alex. I'm a huge introvert as well. But one of the things that benefits you in sales is you're saying the same thing over and over and over again. You're not having a brand new conversation 200 times a day. So that script that you developed almost becomes automatic over time. It's going to take you a while to develop it, but and this was part of my life as a teacher, right? When a kid would say something, I would automatically learn this is going to be my response to that kind of question, right? I would automatically learn when people ask me which one is my favorite, my response is always, that's like asking me which one is my favorite child, right? Because that's how I feel about my specialty honeys. And when someone asks me that, that's always my answer, right?
It wouldn't be here.
And it's that kind of stuff that helps an introvert deal with a 6-hour day of being extroverted, being on for 6 hours. Because it's not that stress of what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? You know what you're going to say. And the other thing is you can't get bogged down by rejection, by the people saying no over and over and over again, because there's going to be plenty of that. You're not going to get the yeses if you don't keep trying.
You just thank them for trying your honey, and
that's right.
I kind of tried that at the barbecue, the work party. I prepared sample squeeze bottles.
Yeah, nice.
And one took off with it, with the cinnamon. When I ran out of cinnamon honey, sorry, I'm out. And they just like, can I have that? And they offered half the price of a full bottle. So, yeah.
So right now, blueberries are a really popular one, but we're going to phase that one out as we'll start phasing other ones in for the fall season. And then if you start doing events long enough, people, it's weird. Like my phone number is on the jar. Our website address is on the jar. You can order more product anytime you want. But there are people that come back. We saw you at Cider Days last year, and we couldn't wait till Cider Days this year so we can get your stuff again. And I say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We love how you remembered us. But inside that voice is going, our website is on the jar, lady. Yeah. Come on. You could have ordered it whenever you want.
The same thing. It's like my cell phone number's on the label.
That's right. That's right. But they remember us. And that's the best feedback you get when people are like, oh, we got this last year. And I mean, that just feels so good. You've felt what that feels like when people love what you do, you get excited about it. So it's hard. It's hard to be an extrovert in a marketing situation, but there is that benefit of it being a repeated situation that you can practice.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a temperature question since we're on the topic, because I think you're the one who pointed out that video for the West Virginia Virginia Beekeepers Association.
Yes, sir.
That guy on that video, he says, okay, for the dice method, I believe you go up to 108 degrees. I think it's 108, but he said he takes his temperature up to like 100 or so to start melting, just kind of get those sugar crystals melted down.
Yeah.
I've tried doing that, and I can't hold a temperature at 100. It shot up to 108. Maybe it's my gas stove or something, but I can't.
I think the point is just to liquefy any crystals in the honey. So 100 and 108, I don't think is going to matter much, Darren.
Okay, but you don't do that then? You don't even bother heating at all then? Or
No.
really?
Yeah.
Here's my first batch I'm working on tonight.
Yeah, even if the crystals
Look
are
at
so
Look at that, how nice that looks. This is out of my.
Nice.
This is KitchenAid mixer right here. We were talking about this, Alex. That's
yeah, I need.
Show me your
yeah, I
show
definitely
show
need a
Alex
bit
your
of- a
mixer,
better mixer.
Darren.
It's
Hey,
just a
can you
little
throw your-
artisan mixer.
Huh?
I'll show it. I'll get it.
Show it and show it.
Show and tell.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I thought that was the only reason that you brought the runny honey up to temperature was to make sure there was no crystals in that honey because you wanted to adapt the seed honey crystal.
There it is, right there. An
Yeah,
artisan.
that's exactly what I looked up after
Yeah.
Brad told me about it, about KitchenAid.
Yeah. There's different models of this. There's like the professional. Then there's that. I think you guys were talking about the commercial version. It's like $900 or something like that.
Yeah,
But
that's a bit much, but this
Yeah,
one is
it
about
is.
330 Canadian, so that's more
300
reasonable.
bucks.
But this is only a 5-quart mixer. I don't know what it's going to be like. Like this right here, what I just showed you. This is only 6
Yeah,
pounds.
show it again. Let me blow the screen up, Brad or Darren.
This bowl right here. This is a KitchenAid mixer bowl, and it's only got 6 pounds in it. But if I
All right,
feel
now
this,
flip it over if you can. Can you see the contents of it?
yeah, it's nice and white. That's
Okay.
the alfalfa honey. That's nice.
All right, now what for Alex's benefit? What stirring utensil do you use?
I'll get that too.
Because there's different ones.
I used the wide one that looks kind of a spade.
Mm.
Yeah.
Here, while
Oh,
he's grabbing that, let me show you this. This is the drill I use for the 5-gallon bucket. It's a mortar drill.
Yeah, I looked those up as well.
So it's a low torque mortar drill. I got it at Harbor Freight for like $75. It's really important you get a low torque one so it's not jerking, so you don't break your wrist while you're doing it. But this in the 5-gallon bucket has done me just fine for that batch.
So
I will say that the quality has definitely gotten better with this machine, but to start off, I didn't even do the KitchenAid. I think the KitchenAid will make a really nice product for you, but it's almost like starting with a 2-frame extractor. I went right to the next step. I knew I was going to bypass step number 1 really quickly, and I just went to step number 2.
Brian, what was your
for the that kind of drill instead.
Brian, what was the frequency with the mortar drill? What you do it a couple times a day, and for how long?
A couple times a day for just a couple of minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, a couple times a day. Within a week, it was ready to jar.
Don't use the dough hook.
And
then you have the beater. Don't use the beater. I don't know what this is called.
You want
It's
to use
just
the big paddle. That's what
the
you want.
paddle,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah. And there was a rumor that was going around a couple months ago about these here containing lead because they were made in China or something. And I almost sent this. The rumor was that if you send this back to KitchenAid, that you'd get a new one. I'm glad I didn't because it turned out to be nothing but a rumor. But so if you do come across that rumor, don't pay any attention to that. It was just a rumor. But this is what I'm using. This was my first batch today. And so like Brian was saying, like I think I did this so far 3 times today for 15 minutes. I mixed this 15 minutes. I got 1 more to go. Do it again tomorrow. Then I think I can bottle it tomorrow. I think I can. Does that sound right? About right, Brian?
Yeah, it's just a matter of it'll just set in the jar.
Yeah. But it's like real runny right now. I mean, it's thicker than honey, but it's runnier than I thought it would be. But I suppose after it sets up in a week, I'm hoping that it'll be good to go.
Well, you want it to be able to flow. I do know
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, because Brian said that you want it to flow to get it into the jar, I guess, and then
it hardens.
right. So I'm thinking I'm going to put it in my basement. My basement's almost like a 60-degree, 65-degree constant temperature, and I don't have a 55-degree environment. I had a wine cooler I just got rid of. I should have kept it, but I'm going to put it in my basement. And I was wondering if I put it in a cooler and if there's some way to apply some ice to it somehow to even chill it down. But I'm not sure how critical that 55 degrees really
I think
is.
60 would be fine.
Yeah,
I think your
60
basement will be fine too.
Just fine.
but
Yeah, I just looked up hammer drills on Amazon. They're like 40 to $100. So
the thing I like about the mixer option, though, is if you decide to do other things, because I play around with like some different sauces and stuff, you can do different things with the mixer than you could with the creamer. But that's like an individual
Over
thing,
time, as you grow, Alex, I think that would still be useful to you for working on your recipes, because when you do recipes, you're doing small batches, right? So then you can make small batches in KitchenAid, even if you have a large creamer for your bulk stuff. That's my feeling.
yeah, because right now I have a half finished, like I had a 1 gallon pail I wanted to set aside for making like a seed for a bulk seed if you want, and I've got about half of that turned into a half decent creamed honey. Crystal is still a little big, but it's somewhat decent. So that's why I like the hammer drill allows me to make a pail, but I constantly have to hold it unless I just hook it up to something. So I just start it with something that will hold the trigger down, or give the.
Well, it's doesn't it have a button on it where it holds the trigger down?
I don't know about that.
Well,
Some of
all
them
the ones
might.
I've ever seen did, but maybe they. So.
Does yours, Brian, have a like? Can you just set the trigger at a and let go of it? Can you like lock the trigger? Yeah, lock the trigger.
Yeah, it should have a trigger lock.
Here's a good question.
Mine doesn't, but I'm sure better ones do.
How do I stop 500 pounds of jarred honey from crystallizing?
Freeze it.
Get yourself a refrigerator and put a light bulb in there, or a heat lamp like I
We
did.
keep it warm, and that'll delay it. Freeze it, and it'll stop it.
Of course, well, honey doesn't expand when you freeze it, does it?
That's right. My jarred honey sits in my truck all winter. And you know how cold it gets here.
Did you guys hear it just turn on? Do you hear
Quiet.
the
I
difference?
heard a little buzz.
is that the creamer?
So 15 minutes it goes on. Every 15 minutes every hour, just automatically. So that process of you going there twice a day, twice a day is my goal. That didn't always happen, right? So I think, again, it's making a better product. It's making a more consistent product. I know Carl's talking about getting a second one. He makes I guess he does killing on peanut butter creamed honey. So he wants to have a separate one for allergy purposes aside, just for creamed honey. And then he can have a second one for making other ones.
I
That
thought you said he does
creamer-
hot honey too. Do you do a hot honey, Brian?
I do. Yeah, I'm working on it right now, actually. Yep.
That's a Lyson creamer.
Yes, I'm
That's
pretty sure.
That Lyson creamer. Now, you bought the attachments separate from the bottling tank, or you
I
bought
did.
them as
Yeah.
one unit?
It would have been cheaper if I bought it all as one unit, but I pieced out the payments. So I think it's about $2,000 altogether. I think that's what Better Bee sells it for, and that's without shipping.
And we know how Better Bee loves their shipping.
Yeah.
Well, but Alex can get that close to where he lives. He can drive to the place and pick it up.
Yeah, I saw those for sale. They're about an hour and a half drive from here.
Now, the only thing is that creamer attachment won't fit mine.
Right.
So mine is a 110, and that's a 220 unit. So, Brian, you got an inverter or something, right?
I have an inverter, so it's plugged into the inverter, and the inverter's plugged into my wall. So that was definitely one hassle about it. It's water jacketed, and that's why it's got, like, you've got 2 screws. Can you see that? Yeah, the 2 screws fit into the stainless steel part, and that's where the water jacketed part is. So there's 2 screws here, 2 screws here, and that's how it holds on. And it doesn't go very fast. I mean, and it's not supposed to, but it's just chugging along.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. There you go. No.
How much can you do doing that at a time? I'm
There
thinking
you
like my mixer does, like I got like 6 pounds in it.
Well, it's 18 gallons, but I've only put up to 12 gallons in. I know Carl said he topped his off and he felt like it didn't mix completely. It could have done a better job of mixing.
That's got to be 200 pounds, eh? 18 gallons.
The equipment
18
or the
gallons?
honey?
Oh, these 18 gallons. You said that's got to be 200 pounds of honey.
Yeah. Yep. So I didn't want to. I filled it up to about here. That was my biggest batch so far, and
How
I'm
do you
still
fill those?
experimenting with it.
Like just pouring it in?
Yeah, right in here. So I've also got one of those stainless steel bucket holders. Do you know what I'm talking about, Alex?
No.
No, yeah, bucket port perch.
Yeah, let me grab it.
Pale perch.
And it's got to be the stainless steel one. It can't be the plastic one because
Mhm.
and it's ridiculous. It's like $45.
I know, it's a ripoff.
But you'll love it when you have it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one of those.
Great.
What's it called?
Bucket perch.
Bucket perch.
Okay.
Or pale perch. Mine is called a pale perch.
So it goes like that, and the lip of your bucket sits right here. So I can pour most of it in and then sit it here and walk away and let the rest of it drain out. I've also gotten to the point, like I've got a bad back, so I don't fill buckets to 60 pounds. My buckets are usually about 50 pounds. And
Yeah,
that's it.
that's the way I am too. It gives you about 3 or 4 inches below the lip.
Yeah.
That way you have more control when you're pouring it.
Yep, that's it. Because if it's right at the lip, it's really heavy, and if you don't get it right, that's a disaster. So
Yeah, well, you can get you can tip it enough to where you can have much more control.
that's right.
Now, you're talking about you keep the seed in there, which is the creamed honey, and then you put the liquid on top of that. Well, then what keeps the seed from setting up? Or you just, let's say you're not going to cream for a while.
Yeah, so this batch was sitting in here for a while, Charlie, and it was like exactly how I described it, kind of left right above the gate, filled.
Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna set and be really hard to start up. And if it was, I would just turn on the bottling tank and heat it up a little bit to soften it. However, I turned it on and it just moved immediately. So I poured in the liquid honey and I felt like the heat of the liquid honey would help balance it out. It wasn't a problem at all. I thought it could have been, but my solution would have been just to turn on the bottling tank. So when I'm doing all this, the bottling tank is off. It's not heating it, right? It's just the creamer that's being plugged in. So right now, this is just sitting here. It's not warming up anything.
And then the paddles spin 15 minutes every hour.
That's right. Go on automatically, and it's got, man, there's not even any programming here. Look how simple this is. Like there's the up and down, but start and stop. I think I can change the 15-minute time, but if I press start, it goes for 3 days, 72 hours, 15 minutes on, 45 minutes off.
And then it's done. 3 days is it.
That's right. And if I want it to go more, I just press the button again, and then it just keeps going.
So, Brian, I see that dripless valve on there. Doesn't that pour a lot? I mean, isn't that really slow?
One drip. That's the one drip valve.
One drip valve. Isn't that kind of slow?
I'll show you.
Let's see you pour one, Brian. Can you do that for us?
I can't see the bottom.
Can you turn the camera down some?
Employ your third arm, and yeah, there you go.
Not your third leg, your third arm.
So these are jars this is actually the honey from one of my management gigs. I manage 4 colonies for them. I got about 7, 8 boxes. I got about 4 buckets for them. So they bought the jars. So this is not what I would be jarring, and this is not my jar. That's my disclaimer. And this is the part that sucks about it. And I've thought about actually taking this valve off and putting on the original valve for creamed honey. But this is what I'm doing, is literally holding it down.
Yeah.
And you can see the thick consistency of it, right?
Like a milkshake.
Yeah, it goes nice and slow. So I just sit here and I listen to you guys chat and I hold the handle down. I wish there was
I'm
a
glad
way
we're
I could,
very
like, prop
entertaining
it
because that
open.
is very slow.
Yeah, this is a giant bottleneck for me. But I wish there was a way I could lock it open, so I didn't even have to hold
There
it.
is. It's a pneumatic valve with a foot press, like I've got.
Yeah.
Well, do they come up? Have they come up with a better valve, like a screw system or anything like that, like an auger system?
Why not just get a regular ball valve? Like
Just
That's what I was
just
thinking.
a
Like,
gate
it
valve.
came with one, Todd. So I was thinking of putting it back on when doing creamed honey, but you kind of have to empty out the tank to do that, and I haven't gotten there yet.
Wow. Yeah, I can see where that's a bottleneck.
3 days to cream, 4 days to bottle.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the great thing is, this account is one of those kind of rich people accounts. I don't even know the homeowners. I work with the chef. I work with the property manager. So
And the
when they
lawn guy.
hired me, they had a beekeeper before that gave them honey that had like legs and wings and beeswax and just did a crappy job with their honey. So I gave them clean honey in buckets one year, and they were so thankful. And then the next year they were like, that was so awesome. A lot of it crystallized though. What can we do about that? So I said, I could cream half of it for you. I'd charge you for it, but sure, I could do that. And they said, sure. And they loved that. And then this year they said, we loved that creamed honey. We loved the liquid honey, but we hated jarring it. Could you jar it for us this year? And I was like, sure, okay. So
It's only this much extra.
and these are the people, like, it's the chef who's bottling the honey, and she doesn't want to do it, but it's not her money, but it's her call. She doesn't ask me how much I'm going to charge for it. So, and the other great thing about it is then I take their beeswax and I make lotion bars out of them, and I sell them 45 lotion bars at my retail price. So I get $450 for lotion bars using their beeswax from their honey.
Sticking it to the man. That's what we're talking about here.
I'm earning my money, Bob. Earning my money.
So they got $6 for a jar to fill the jar, right?
They're getting their money's worth. Let's put it that way. I'm giving them an excellent product and service, and I'm getting
It's getting full.
yes, and my expertise is being valued, and that's my other advice for you, Alex. Value your expertise, because right now you know more about bees than 99% of the people in the world, and you're just going to learn more and more about it. So don't sell yourself short. I make a good chunk of money off of education, off of consulting, off of management, off of annual management, and it's allowed me to quit my other job and do this full time, because that's consistent money that I'm getting annually. And that's the kind of stuff that leads to other work, like making products for the holidays, like people paying me to make creamed honey out of their honey, that kind of stuff. So
Brian, when you're out at farmers markets, I know you probably have quart jars, but what's the usual? Oh, you don't. Okay. So do you do just like pint jars, half pint jars, stuff like that?
most of the time,
And what do you get for it?
yeah, here. This is what we were doing last year. And I spent a lot of time like at the grocery stores in the honey aisle looking at honey just on the packaging. So that was a lot of the work that I did into making a really good product. We want to charge a pretty good chunk for our honey, but we want to make it in a really nice package. We want to make it giftable. we want to make it look really good, right? So we settled on the hex jars. It's 10 ounces by volume. So it's about 12 and a half ounces. I just call it 12 ounces by weight. We get, for liquid honey, we get $16 for this 12 ounces. For any of our specialty honeys, we get $22. Now, that's a pretty good price. Some people walk away from that price, but most people, I would say 75, 80% of the people who think they want to buy it until they hear the price still do. And for me, that's a sweet spot. I don't want to be priced where everyone says, yes, that's the right price. But I do want to be at that right price point. So we do the 12 ounce. And then we have been doing the 8 ounce as well. So this is a 6 ounce by volume. That's 8 ounces by weight when you put honey into it. So the 8 ounce was $12 for liquid honey. And then the 12 ounce was $16. We've since gotten away from using the little one this year, unless we're selling to like we sell to a couple of CSAs who then resell our honey. We'll sell them the small jars. We've just been putting these on our table, really for my convenience. It's easier for me instead of, because I'm getting to the point where I'm bringing like 6 different honeys to every single market. So I don't want to bring 2 different sizes of 6 different honeys to every market. So it's a pretty good thing.
I found a small size often undermines the larger size, because you always have those people, it doesn't matter what you have, they're going to buy the cheapest one on the table.
That's right.
So now, I had a half pound size and it was undermining the pound. And it doesn't matter, those people are now buying a pound when they would buy a half pound before.
Exactly what we experienced too, Brad. And when we took the 8 ounce off the table, people just chose the 12 ounce. But if it was up to the 2, people bought the 8 ounce. So I was like, well. See, and then we do comb honey as well.
Here, most people are buying the middle of the road, right? So they get the 1 pound squeeze bottle or the pint jar. And the perception is the pint jar is a lot more, but it's really only half again more, right? But they seem to buy the pint jars a lot more here.
And then going back to Brad's point, choosing the cheapest option. Now, when people are torn by the price, the cheapest option they choose is our liquid honey, as opposed to any of our specialty honeys, because that one is cheaper than our specialties. We also do comb honey.
That's a good looking product right there.
Thank you. That is nice.
Yep,
and that's part of, we spend the money to package it, right? We spend the money to make it look good. So we pass that cost on to the customer. So this is a 2x4. We do 15 for this. The sticker also works as the seal. It's a 2x4 sticker that works this way. We like to do the clear seal so it highlights the product really nicely. Yeah, so we've got our logo there and our name. And then on the edge of the sticker, you can see it's got a little product information. Yep. Blah, 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 by law kind of stuff.
That's really nice.
That is.
And this is the kind of stuff, it won't sell like cakes, but we'll sell a couple every market. And another one that's not great for 90-degree markets, right? This is going to get destroyed in 90-degree weather.
Yeah, so, we put our comb in a cooler when we go to the markets.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be, of ice in the cooler or anything like that, but we just keep it in the cooler so the sun doesn't get at it or anything.
Yep.
Now, where are you getting those 2x4 containers from?
That was either Blue Sky or Better Bee.
Okay, so it was a bee supply and not a bottle or a container corporation.
Correct. Yeah, okay. And that was like it was like 160 count that I got for the season.
Okay.
So and that's less than a half a pound, would it be?
It all depends on thickness. I don't weigh them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really depends on how thick they are. This year they were kind of thin in comparison. I don't know if you can see the height.
Now, how much do you sell one like that for?
15 bucks.
15 bucks.
We used to do 15 for these and 25 for a 4x4. But again, just simplifying life. One packaging, one sticker.
So how many of those can you get out of a medium frame? Because I'm assuming that's what you're cutting them out of.
Yeah, and that's what I do is, like as I'm running my honey, I got all my honey supers on my colonies. The past couple of years, I've been rushing to get honey off my colonies so I can get them to the market because I've sold out of honey the previous years. So I would go to colonies, I'd pull off like a capped frame per box, and then I would replace it with a foundationless frame. And those would be my comb honey frames for the year because I knew that's when the flow was going hard in my area. If they've already got some frames that are capped off that I can pull off the spin, they're going to pull out one foundationless frame in a box pretty well to fill out. So if it's going to fill that whole frame out, you can get 7 good cuts out of a medium frame. And I use the Pierce heated 2x4 cutter. It's really nice to have that tool as well. But it all depends on how
you're making $105 a frame before input costs, right? Before your box and label.
But again, I'm charging people for my expertise. That is not easy to make. It's taken me years to dial in my system. I do not have a great flow out here. So producing comb honey is not an easy thing to do.
Oh,
So
I agree.
if people balk on my prices, I'm like, it's okay. I understand. You don't know what it takes to go into it. You don't value it the same thing that I do. I'm not offended by it. It's okay. It's just I'm not going to balk on the valuing of my expertise. I know all the mistakes I've made.
That's good advice. Don't be offended by it. Just, you just got to be confident in what this cost you in not only money, but in time and effort and work.
And in mistakes,
beekeepers are the first ones to cut themselves short because they love bees and they love working bees and they do it for nothing, right? So they'll sell their honey for nothing, and that's a big mistake because it's a boatload of work and it costs a lot of money to do it.
And the damn bottling machine is $2,000, and the uncapper is $2,700, and the extractor is $2,000, and the KitchenAid mixer is $300, and a tote of sugar is $600.
They say, you know what happens when I'm done extracting, and I get the honey house kind of cleared out and get some space. Now I got to go through the comb honey. I'll spend days packing comb honey. Well, it would take me a day to spin out all of the honey that I have in comb. It's going to take me a week to pack it, right? So that's why I get twice as much or more per pound for the comb honey.
And you watch Gus Mitchell talk about getting a particular type of frame and maximizing the comb honey per frame. I'm not that meticulous with it. If I get a frame that's half drawn out, that's capped, I'll cut 1 or 2 pieces out of that frame, and then I'll crush and strain the rest of it because the wax is a harvest for me as well. That's a resource. That's an asset.
And you get the honey back anyway, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The honey back anyway. The wax is $5 a pound. The honey is, whatever a pound. It's not as much for me as it is you guys, but and that's exactly what I do. A lot of it goes into the crusher. Just because I don't spend a lot of effort on the production of comb honey. I put a bunch of foundationless frames in the hives in June and July or whatever. If they make comb honey, great. If they don't make comb honey, whatever. Right?
I tried twice to make comb honey in the jars screwed onto inner covers, and it worked once on 2 out of 11 jars. It's like herding cats. It's almost impossible to get them to draw into
Alex,
bottles.
get a medium box. I don't know. Do you use mediums at all, or is it all deeps?
Yes, I use mediums.
Okay. Well, just do foundationless mediums. That's the easiest way to make comb honey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because having them straight into the bottle is really nice, but it's almost impossible to have them do it.
But then when that honey crystallizes around that comb in the jar, then you got a problem.
Yeah. You're
a lot of people use that as a talking point in the kitchen or something. It's kind of a piece of art.
The
Yeah,
display.
foundationless mediums, it's perfect. And the only thing I'll add is you do want to put something in that groove at the
A
top.
starter strip.
Well, people talk about starter strips. Don't bother wasting your time and money on actually, wax foundation and garbage like that. Just some kind of a little tiny edge in the center, because the bees want to start on an edge of some kind. If you don't put anything there, they'll start on the outside corner of that frame, because
I've
that's
seen
the
someone
closest
use
thing to
I use
wood.
the closest thing to an edge that they can find. So if you just jam a little stick into that groove that just fits just right, and it doesn't even
And
have to
wax
go
it.
the entire doesn't even have no, I don't bother wax it. It doesn't have to go the
Alright.
entire length either. Just kind of maybe 2/3 or whatever in there, just something for them. And it doesn't have to be very long. It could be 2 or 3 millimeters long, maybe 3 or 4 millimeters if you want long. I mean, deep, sticking out of the frame at the bottom. I mean,
Yeah, I
um,
understand.
that's the key. The longer you make that, the less you can cut out for comb honey, right? I made some and I made them quite long, and that's the problem. I have to cut underneath them, and then I lose probably 3/4 of an inch or so of comb honey because the stick is too long. But that's my advice on that. Just medium frames. Yeah,
I used the wedge
super
top
easy.
frame and snapped off the wedge and stuck it and glued it into the track.
Yep.
And I did use a small paintbrush and paint one small strip of wax under mine though.
Yeah.
Where I did it.
You can
Yeah,
wax it.
Huskies.
I don't think it makes any difference.
Husking Honeybee says like popsicle sticks.
Popsicle sticks.
The fat tongue depressor ones are perfect too.
Compressor.
Yeah.
Of course, I fire up the saw stop and I'll rip a little piece of wood that fits
Yeah.
in there just perfectly, so I don't have to put any fasteners or glue in it. It just wedges right in there. But not everybody got a nice table saw they want to use.
Well, we've been going for 3 hours, so I'm going to go ahead and end the stream for tonight. It's a little after 11 o'clock here in East Coast. So good night, everyone, and I'll see you next Friday.
Good night.
And or the next stream, whether it be Saturday night or wherever.
See you on the next live stream near you.
Yeah.
Coming.